Hi, I'm Karlin Borisenko. In early 2020, I was the knitting Democrat who accidentally went viral on the internet for going to a Trump rally and then left the party. I became the conservative darling, was on all the shows, traveled around the country, and then realized that conservatives were no better than Democrats. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that both political tribes are two sides of the same coin. But it wasn't all bad. On my journey, I became obsessed with understanding the woke ideology and the culture war. I broke the story of the city of Seattle doing segregated training with its employees.
How bad has this stuff become? The city of Seattle has now put out, I'm not kidding you, this is according to Dr. Karlin Borisenko, who's an organizational psychologist. The city of Seattle asked its white employees to voluntarily spend a day off in a training about their internalized racial superiority.
I broke the story that led to the first ever federal lawsuit against critical race theory in the schools. I broke the Coke Be Less White story, one of the biggest anti-woke stories of all time. It got over 30 million views. Coca-Cola's corporate headquarters even had to change their outgoing voicemail.
Throughout the past few days, you may have seen inaccurate reporting on the content of our recently launched diversity, equity, and inclusion training program.
I exposed the schools in Burlington, Vermont for grooming middle school children live on the internet. They called me an unwoke cult leader for that. And the Vermont Human Rights Commission slandered me publicly as being a hate channel. I even got called a hero in Breitbart for exposing that the Washington Post was writing a hit piece on Christopher Rufo. I have broken story after story after story about what's going on in the public schools, from Cambridge, Massachusetts, to autistic sex education, to the Department of Education in Michigan, literally training teachers all over the state how to groom children. I wrote a book called Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against the woke insanity in your life. I host a podcast all about fighting back, and I'm downloading all of my knowledge to you on my Substack, karlin.substack.com. The world is a crazy place. We are literally surrounded by cults on all sides. On this show, we're going to do a deep dive into all aspects of the culture war, and I will show you the dark, dystopian underbellies on both sides. Here are the commitments I'll make to you. I will always tell you the truth. I will always bring you receipts. And if you stick with me, I promise you will see the world differently. Welcome to the cult. Please mount that like button for me and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to a special early edition watch party. I want to first start today by thanking the graciousness of my supporter community, because typically on Wednesdays at noon, we do a supporter call, which lasts about 3 hours. I do 2 supporter calls a week in my community. One is on Monday at 7 p.m. The other is on Wednesday at noon, and they're great, and I love them, and I wish we were on it right now. But sadly, I can't control the schedule of Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones. Try as I might, I have not developed the ability to do that yet. And today we are going to be tuning in for a live debate between Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones on the topic of Israel and Gaza and all that stuff. And sometimes I like to spoil myself just a little bit, and I want to watch it live. And I think you guys might want to watch it live too, because I mean, come on, is there going to be any better shit show on the internet today? Sometimes we just have to set things aside and go where the shit show that never ends takes us. And today that shit show is taking us right to Austin, Texas, where Nick Fuentes will be debating Alex Jones on the topic of Israel and Gaza and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, in about 9 minutes. And I'm kind of just waiting for it to come up on the channel right now. Let's see. I just want to make sure. Nick said he was streaming it to his Rumble channel, I think. I've also got Cozy pulled up because I know that they stream it to there. So we're going to have the stream from someplace. Let's see. Any predictions? I think that Nick is going to win. Because and the reason and you know what, listen, okay, so for real, guys, one of the reasons I wanted to do this is I've obviously been listening to Nick's take on this since this all started. I think he's right. I know that makes me feel icky too. But he's thought through it in a way that's actually highly pragmatic. He's not doing the Jew hating stuff. Well, he always does a little bit of Jew hating, but he's not really doing that. He is actually making grounded arguments in reality, and I think he's thought it through, and I think he's gonna win, and I think he's prepared, and we're gonna see how it goes. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Trendlin says, I have not watched the Liz Wheeler show. I saw a little clip of that and I was like, I'm not watching that. And I like Liz. I do. She's fine. But I'm not watching that. Like I saw that thing. I saw it happen live. I know what Nick Fuentes said. Like, I don't need to watch it again. I agreed with what he said. God. But you guys know what's funny about these situations as we're kind of waiting for the stream to get started. You know what's kind of funny about these situations? I was looking at, okay, so you guys know I have several internet boyfriends and girlfriends. Yes, I swing both ways exclusively on the internet. In real life I like dick. On the internet I swing both ways. My first ever internet love, of course, is our friend Sophie. That is Sophie's Instagram account. Sophie Lewis is an abolish the family socialist. She is our favorite abolish the family socialist. She is a redheaded goddess, ginger dragon, and we love her. And Sophie totally wants me. And so I follow Sophie and on all the platforms. And I gotta say, Sophie and I have been agreeing on this issue, and even more scary than that is that my internet girlfriend Sophie Lewis is also agreeing with my internet boyfriend Nick Fuentes, and I'm sure neither of them are happy about this. And I love it because it's like for the briefest moment in time, for just this one little kind of like cosmic anomaly, the farthest of the far left abolish the family socialist agrees with like the farthest of the far right Christian nationalist. And I agree with both of them, and I just doing it from an anti-war perspective. I'm like, I just don't want there to be war and genocide. I just don't know what's so hard about this. And like all three of us are completely on the same page. And I just think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It shows you that love really can win in the end, that the universe can come together. Can we all just get along? Can we have peace now? Like everyone's on the same page, everyone's good. Yes, apparently this is the internet threesome that's waiting to happen apparently. Hell hath frozen over. Exactly. We are never we are never going to see this again in our lifetimes. Yes, polyamory at its finest. Everyone agrees. Everyone's on the same page. All right. Anyway, so I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. I also wanted to bring to everyone's attention that I have finally had enough. And I was hemming and hawing about this for a while. And I was like, I'm going to do it. 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 I have decided to make a very special limited edition collection. They're shirts and hoodies for the Unwoke art store. And there are two designs that you can get. The first design is the Zionists Always Lie design, which the groypers have been asking me for. And so I even made it. I made it with green groypers too. And then I made the America is Greater Than Israel design. And these are super limited edition, okay? And if you want them, they're going to be in the Unwoke art store this week only. And I just got sick of it. And I was like, you know what? F this shit. Like, I'm going to say what I want. The whole point of my merch store is to be subversive. And so I am trying, like, again, I am not pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Palestine. I think Israel has a right to exist. I think Israel has a right to defend itself. I don't hate anyone. I don't want anyone to die. I am extraordinarily anti-genocide. on both sides. I think Jewish genocide is bad. I think Israeli genocide is bad. Well, that's the same thing. I think Palestinian genocide is bad. That's what I meant to say. I haven't had a full cup of coffee yet. I think all genocide is bad, okay? But there is one side that is consistently lying to try to pull the United States into a war, and I'm not down with that. And so for this week only, I am rebelling by selling cool merch in my store. If you want to support what I'm doing or get a t-shirt or a hoodie or something, those are going to be up, and I'm taking them down after this week because I'm not living in this place forever. But that's available in the store now, unwokeart.com. You can get some other cool merch while you're there. I mean, we're going to see who has the big balls with this one, guys. All you groypers, you all talk a good game. Let's see who has it. Let's see. All right. So that's available in the Unwoke Art store now. Let me see if this stream is up and running yet. I hope everyone's having a good day. Please mount that. Joa, I'm not going to be able to make it to that. I'm really sorry, bro, but good luck. Let me see if anyone is streaming this yet. It's supposed to be on Nick's Rumble channel, right? I don't see it on Nick's Rumble channel yet. I do not see it on the Rumble channel yet. All right. Let's see. I don't think that's a good idea, Kino. Ah, God. All right. Well, I know I can stream it on Cozy anyway. Hang on. They're just doing a food commercial right now on Cozy. Isn't it supposed to be on Nick's Rumble channel? Am I sniffing glue or something? Okay. Okay, he just posted in Telegram that he's going live with Alex Jones in 15 minutes. Always fucking late. Can someone please get that kid a watch? Jesus Christ. All right. So he's not talking right now. It's like literally a commercial. I have it on my stream. I do have it on my screen right now. I'm monitoring what's going on, but literally it's just a commercial right now. Oh God, it's good. Okay, so I want to say this while we have a little extra time together, guys. So I want to I've been having the weirdest interactions with the groypers over the past, like, ever since I did that video where I was upset on Saturday. And by the way, I still don't want you guys disrupting my actual work. Seriously, Rosa? Seriously? 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 You're not going to do this, Rosa. I'm not going to have this shit. I am not in favor of any type of genocide. You've been a supporter of mine for a long time, but you're not going to do this shit to me. Absolutely not. Jesus Christ. Can we have a little intellectual integrity, please? Anyway, I just want to make this note since apparently we have a couple extra minutes together before they actually get started. I've been having some weird conversations with the groypers over the past couple of days where it's this one of the things that I've learned is they're it's kind of it's so culty. So I have groypers sliding into my DMs. Rosa, not doing it right now. I have said specifically, and this is the last fucking time I'm going to say this. See, I don't just yell at the groypers. I yell at my own audience too. This is the last fucking time I'm going to say this. As I have said from the very beginning, I think Israel has a right to exist. I think Israel has a right to defend itself. I think Palestinians have a right to exist as well. I don't think that Israel should be genociding the Palestinians. I would be equally opposed if the Palestinians were genociding the Israelis. And the thing that I have a problem with is people who are putting the interests of Israel above the interests of the United States. We should not be dragged into a war over fucking Israel. And Israel, right now, is using propaganda to try to drag us into a fucking war with Iran. I'm not going to do this. You are not going to come into my fucking chat after as long as you've known me and call me a fucking anti-Semite, Rosa. That's not going to fucking happen. All right, Rosa's getting a timeout. Rosa, if you keep doing this, I'm just going to ban you, and we're just going to have to go our separate ways, because I'm not doing this. I am not going to justify having a perfectly reasonable opinion that we should not be going to fucking war and no one should be genociding anyone. It's not going to happen. People have lost their fucking minds. Lost their fucking minds. Swear to God. You don't want to fuck with me when I'm wearing this much fucking eye makeup. All right. All right, what I was saying. So I've had groypers like sliding into my DMs, being like so uber protective of Nick. And I'm like, yo, I haven't even talked to the guy. True story. He and I haven't even talked. Like, we bantered on Twitter a little bit. And now all the groypers are like circling me. It's like they think that if they play nicely, here's what it is. The groypers think that some of them, not all of them, they think that if they play nicely with other audiences, that those audiences are going to like steal Nick away from them. It's really, it's like part of it is kind of endearing and a little overprotective, and part of it's just kind of weird. Joa, I really can't make it. I'm sorry. I really cannot make it. There'd be no reason for me to be a witness. I don't even know what's going on. I'm sorry. So, like, here's what I want to say for the groypers. Like, we're just all over the place right now. Here's what I want to say to the groypers. Like, fucking relax. Fucking relax. Like, no one, like, it's okay to allow other people that are not young men to enjoy what he's doing too. It's okay. No one's going to steal him from you. Oh, this is over the Bulldog thing? I'm sorry, Joa. I cannot make it tomorrow. I can't. I'm sorry. But good luck. I mean, like, you got all the video, bro. You don't need me there. You have video from like 4 different angles. So everyone just relax and calm down. I haven't even spoken to Nick. I suspect I won't, because this was all just an internet game to begin with. But I do appreciate his take on the war situation. I'm sure we will all go back to fighting in a couple of weeks, and it'll be like none of this ever happened. This is a very limited amount of time in which we have the unholy alliance. So can we all just play nicely, guys? For real? I just don't want shit. I don't want drama. I don't want nonsense. You guys can share him with other people and he's still going to be yours. This is one of those things. Like, I remember, like, I used to be like friends with like this group of women who were constantly trying to hold me back because they didn't want me to leave. And it got really annoying and aggravating. And it's like, on one hand, I get it. You want everyone to be friends. You don't want things to change. Okay, I get that. But on the other hand, it's a little weird. Nick obviously wants to like reach more people. I would think he wouldn't be doing things like going on Alex Jones if he didn't. So just let it be, bro. No one's going to steal him from you. It's going to be fine. Relax. Jesus, stop sliding into my DMs. No, that's not true. You can always slide into my DMs, but just don't like play this game where like you're trying to like convince me to like go because you're afraid of like sharing Nick with other people. It's weird. It's just weird. I don't understand it. It is very cult-like. Anyway, let's see what's going on. Are they streaming yet? Always got to be running late. Guys, please do mouth that like button for me if you would be so kind. See, I want to watch it on Nick's Rumble channel, but I'll watch it. Okay, let's just stream Alex Jones. Let's see what's going on. Fine.
That's also going on. So now Jenna Ellis has pled guilty, and part of the communist struggle session
bad for Jenna.
Or truth reconciliation that communists do in China and South Africa and in the old Russian system is they then come out and denounce those who have not pled guilty. It's unbelievable.
No, this is live. This
Trump
is
never
him
told
live.
them to go to Georgia and try to go look at the computers and check and see if there was fraud. And we now know there was fraud with illegals voting and people that were dead.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not showing
voting.
this chat on my screen.
So this is
Sorry.
a struggle session. The gulags are now
This is
live.
not a
Jack
struggle
Posobiec
session.
tweeted. Amazing how lawyers who know the law advise Trump and then
Listen, man, this is not a struggle session with Jenna Ellis. I'm sorry. She chose to plead guilty. And I get it, man. I had someone put it. What did it say? Oh, God, I'm going to have to go back and fucking look now at the goddamn cozy chat. What did it say? Oh, was it milk tea groyper? I don't see where I have a message in the chat. That's okay. Anyway, I'm taking the chat off because you guys like to put things in the chat that I can't put on YouTube. Okay. What was I going to say? This is not a struggle session. Listen, man, I had a friend plead guilty to a crime he didn't commit because he was railroaded by the feds. I understand what that's like, and it sucks. It really does. But this is not a struggle session. Jenna Ellis chose to plead guilty. Jenna Ellis involved herself in this situation from the very beginning. This is like, I just don't agree with the idea that this is a struggle session. Struggle sessions are way different than like you voluntarily choose to put yourself in a position to read a statement.
Value election integrity. If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges. I look back on this whole.
Oh, you were trying to cause trouble, Michael. Okay,
I
understand.
Of mine, Your
I
Honor,
get it.
I've taken responsibility
All
already
good.
before the Colorado bar who censured me, and I now take responsibility before this court and apologize to the people of Georgia. Thank you.
All right, so there you go. And then meanwhile, ex-Chief of Staff Mark Meadows granted immunity, tells special counsel he warned Trump about 2020 claims.
All right, guys, they should be live
So
soon.
they all said that they thought it was stolen. Of course, there was overwhelming evidence that there was. And then now they are completely turning against him. And we know that they manipulated thousands of news stories that would make Biden look bad under FBI direction, total election meddling, totally illegal. They manipulated the Google, Facebook, Twitter algorithms, Apple algorithms. All of that's confirmed. Congressional hearings, testimony, government documents, with CIA emails saying this is illegal.
Him, bro.
We shouldn't be doing this.
Listen, it's okay to share Nick with people. He's not going to leave you. It's going to be fine. It's okay to share him. I haven't even spoken to him. It's all right that other people enjoy what he's saying and what he's doing. You guys don't need to be so protective. No one's going to steal him from you.
Still saying, and they listed on August and May comments. You are still saying the election was stolen, so we're throwing your ass in prison. Where is the ACLU?
How do I get everything wrong,
Where's
bro?
the Lawyers Guild? Where's Amnesty International?
Listen,
where's the press?
We have a little extra time here. How exactly do I get everything wrong? Explain to me how I get everything wrong. That Nick's audience holds him back from being able to reach other audiences because you guys treat other people like crap? Do I have that wrong? Because I live that. I don't think I am imagining it because you guys attack anyone who shows the least bit interest in him. So I don't think I am. You told me directly this morning, bro, you want to keep his audience small. You told me that directly. Well, why do you want to keep it small if you aren't afraid of losing him? I'm a psychologist, bro. You can't pull the wool over my eyes on this. I know what's going on. Happens all the time. The groypers are very protective of him. I understand it. He's been stabbed in the back a lot, but everyone just needs to calm down. Chill out. All right. When is this getting started?
oh, but when the Islamists go block cars and pull white men out of them, that's okay. When they burn down cities, it's okay by the left. But then the right wing says, oh, but we're going to kick them out of college or arrest them because of their speech. That is absolutely un-American and is disgusting.
All right.
All right.
Nick is on his Rumble channel so I'm going to watch there. Hang on. I guess it's the same feed, so I guess I don't know what really mattered, but
in here and get him seated and get him ready. That'll take a few minutes. Get the cameras all aimed and the rest of it.
The groypers are my jealous girlfriend.
Then we will start this debate and discussion with
They
him.
are.
Vladimir Solyov, who is the top, hands down, Russian broadcaster. He's like the Tucker Carlson over there, is going to be joining us in the 4th hour. I will be conducting the interview. And I thought you should hear from the Russians. I'll be called a traitor. They'll call for my arrest all over the news. Obviously, Russia is against the Israeli bombardment of Gaza. But that's okay, because we're giving you all the sides here, all the angles. Are you noticing? That's how we're different. We believe you should be able to make your decision.
I haven't even spoken to Nick.
View,
you all need to calm
then
down.
I will also go to all the other issues
Why isn't this
that
displaying?
are there. So
I haven't even spoken to him.
We're going to go to break early. And then we're going to come back in about 5 minutes. Usually the breaks are 2 minutes.
All right. They're going to break, so I'm going to turn it down. Groypers, you need to settle down. I like what Nick is saying in the past couple weeks because he's not being an evil little dick on the internet. That's all that this is. There was you guys, seriously, there was banter on Twitter. One of you sent in a super chat. He responded how he responded. He and I haven't even spoken. Beyond public Twitter banter. Everyone needs to relax. Now you're all acting like a bunch of jealous girlfriends. You guys are acting like the jealous girlfriends.
And so be sure and check all that out. Remember, when you get excited, because you're the dog, not the tail, I'm the tail. When you get excited and you promote links, you promote articles, you tell people, hey, the one that must not be named.
Kanye West is a different thing. That's a completely different level of thing. I'm talking about normal people. Yeah, exactly. He better not get a girlfriend. Exactly. You guys would make her life miserable. Do you guys honestly think that if Nick ever gets a girlfriend, do you think he's actually going to tell you guys? Of course he's not. He wouldn't want to drive her away. You guys would make her life miserable.
Handout video for people live on air. We'll do this. And then you look right up there in the corner. It says the Alex Jones Show. Click on that in the 10 corner.
I'm in fucking high school. I didn't like high school the first time, two ladies. Why am I in high school again, groypers?
Now let's click on the Alex Jones Show right there in the left-hand corner. Boom. You send them that URL. When you click that link, that's the URL you send, because all our previous shows are there, and clips and highlights and everything is there under it. They
think I'm Avril Lavigne? Well, I guess I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. I do have makeup that looks like her today, I guess. It's an emo kind of day. It's not a phase. All right. Coming back with Nick Fuentes soon. I want to see the debate. Okay, everyone, what are your debate predictions? Let us know in the chat what your debate predictions are. I'll turn the volume up when they come back. How am I attacking him? How have I attacked him at all? See, here's what's going on. I feel like the groypers have like a Discord or something where they're talking about this and like riling each other up, and then they come and talk to me because it's like every time I hear from groypers now, it's like a coordinated effort where they're all coming to me and saying the same thing. So I feel like you guys have like a Discord or something where you're talking and like coordinating what you're saying, and you're just riling each other up, and then it's like can everyone just chill?
Worldwide bestseller, The Great Reset and the War for the World,
This is supposed to be a fun day. This is a fun activity, groypers. Relax.
It is the blueprints to the Death Star. And that book is available signed or unsigned.
Oh, you say I'm attacking you guys because well, I'm not attacking Nick. I'm calling you guys a bunch of jealous girlfriends. Like, that's about you. That's not about Nick. Nick isn't doing anything. You guys are acting like a bunch of jealous girlfriends is what's happening.
It is 400 pages long. I would say that 60% of it is the latest enemy operations and how they're operating and what makes them tick and how to stop them. But then 40% or so is what we...
I should have made a Nick Fuentes bingo. I didn't think of it, though.
Systems to counter the dystopia that they are setting up. Now, we're going to send this to number one. You're going to send this to number one. They are so pissed about this book, they're already attacking it. But I want to encourage all of you to go to InfoWars.
All right, let's turn this up.
It's a fundraiser to keep us on air and a historical memento, and also get unsigned copies to give to your friends, your family, and your neighbors, because this book is a major piece of history. So let me...
Guys, how's my mic volume compared to the thing? Does it sound okay? It sounds okay to me.
I'll show you the back of the book. A Tucker Carlson quote, a Bill Maher quote, a Joe Rogan quote, a Stephen K. Bannon quote.
Hang on. You guys don't even know what the left is doing. I promise you. I know you think you do. I know you think the Jews control everything. I really, really do. But you guys don't even know what the left is doing or how they're winning or how they infiltrated the institutions or how they took over. You don't know any of this stuff. You would learn this if you came and watched my content because that's what I talk about. But like, you don't know that. And so if you don't know that, you're not going to win. I'm sorry. You might think you are because you think it's all about the Jews, but it's not. Not everything is about the Jews, groypers. I promise you. Not everything is about the Jews. You guys obviously don't know anything about me. I do my research before. This is like, I haven't even spoken to Nick. Like, I'm not worried about any bridge being burnt because I haven't even spoken to the man. Jesus Christ. He hasn't done anything to me. I haven't done anything to him. Everyone needs to calm down. All right. Hopefully this starts soon. Now let's all stop arguing. We can all share Nick today, groypers, okay? It should be starting soon, Beth. They're just going and doing a commercial. I just don't want to air Alex Jones's book commercial. No, just relax. Guys, there are 2 rules in my chat. Number 1, don't be a dick. Number 2, no whining. Just don't insult people. No shit posting. Just be cool.
Chapter 5, the eternal war of
tyrants. God,
Chapter
he's
6,
going through the
war
chapters?
machine. Chapter 7, the deep state makes its move. Chapter 8, the education of Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and others. That's the big inside baseball section. Very powerful. Chapter 9, Jeffrey Epstein. Renfield of the globalists, Draculas, but even worse because they prey on their own children.
Bro. What are they doing now? What are they doing now?
Totally
Do you even
proven.
know?
I name names. You cannot make this up. Chapter 10, the COVID lies and deception. Chapter 11, selling your soul to Hollywood and the CIA. Chapter 12, combat tactics for victory. Chapter 13, the final battle.
This is what I'm talking
conclusion.
About. This
How
is the type
you
of
know
nonsense I'm talking about.
And more. The Great Awakening, exclusively available at InfoWarsStore.com, a piece of history, funding the resistance, and getting a great tool to further empower yourself, inform yourself, and wake up friends, family, neighbors.
Marx
Get
didn't
your
like
copy
the
signed
Jews,
or
bro.
unsigned right
This
now
is not
at
true. Marx
InfoWarsStore.com.
didn't like the Jews.
And I thank you for all your support. We are all part of the Great Awakening.
All right. Fuck us. Debate time. Everyone relax.
There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak.
Let me think. Just let me think.
In fact, even now, orders are being shouted into telephones and men with guns.
Why did it stop? Why did it stop? Oh. I don't even know if I want to, hang on, I don't even know if I want to borrow Nick at this point. Like, if I'm going to experience grief over it, it's not worth it.
2001.
All right, I'm going to get my knitting.
2001. Alex Jones first predicted the September 11th attack on the World Trade Center.
You've got an element of the FBI and these war game scenarios where they can remote control a 747 and they're going to crash it into the World Trade Center.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, InfoWars tells you the truth about what's happening next. Visit Infowars.com/show and share.
Look, groypers, I'm knitting the groyper shawl today.
Big broadcast today. We're talking to naughty people. Nick Fuentes
Naughty
here with us for the
people.
next hour and
Really?
38 minutes.
Maybe I do
And
want him
the
after
top
all.
Russian broadcaster, Putin's buddy, joins us. How dare us actually hear what the Russians have to say. We're going to
good.
be
He's not
evil
wearing a bad
Americans
tie,
and
at least.
exercise our free speech here in the balance of the broadcast until 3 p.m. Central today. And then Owen Schroyer is back to host the War Room. Oh, sorry, he's in federal prison for being peacefully on the Capitol grounds on January 6th and trying to stop people going into the building. There's not tyranny in America. So Nick Fuentes is here, America First Foundation.
Good decision on the no tie. He looks much better without a tie. Why did it stop? What the hell? I'm gonna get another stream up. This keeps crashing. What the hell? Why is it stopped?
Yep. So Nick Fuentes is here, America First Foundation.
No, it really did stop. What the fuck happened? Hang on. I got it up on Cozy. If it comes back up
Probably
on
20 minutes
Rumble,
of the
I'll...
last hour and a half was used. So till we go to break in like 5 minutes, you've got the floor. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Well, I did watch your show today, and I watched your show yesterday and on Saturday. I saw you call me out. And I said about you that you believe in these conspiracy theories about 9/11, about mass shootings, but you said that Israel did not blow up that hospital on Friday, but it was the Palestinians. And I said that that's
I'm
interesting.
getting it up on
because,
InfoWars.
to me, directionally,
This is a
we know
stop
that
gap.
Israel does this sort of thing all the time. They blow up hospitals, schools, mosques. And so, and he's going somewhere else here, but so I think it's okay. Just I'm like, where's this guy going? And so to me, I say, well, it's far more obvious that Israel
There's a guy just
attacked
like
the
walking
hospital,
in the
not
studio.
Palestinians. And I think it's coming out from the mainstream media. They don't want that Israel attacked that hospital because it's pissing off and incensing all the Muslims in the region, which puts Israel in a bad situation. So, for me, I'm thinking that the big problem going on is that Israel should not be permitted to level Gaza. And it's not just because of the Palestinian human rights. It's also because it's against America's interest. And I've seen on your show, you focus on the refugee issue that the Palestinians are pouring in and Muslims are coming into the United States or Europe. But in every...
Okay. I've got fan TV up. Hang on.
I'm America first like you. I actually think we agree on a lot. I'm not necessarily pro-Muslim or higher the risk of a intervention by Hezbollah.
There we go.
And then therefore that the conflict escalates and widens and includes Iran, which would then necessarily include the United States. So I think the America first position is actually to support Palestinian statehood and consequently to fall on the side of the Palestinians in this one. And I think that's where we disagree.
Yeah, I think granting them statehood, Israel's not going to let that happen. And so that's going to start World War III. But up until that point, I agree with about 95% of what you said.
Yeah. And I think we agree for the most part.
Okay, but you just said in the clip we had, I'm not going to, we'll keep going. It's your time.
Sure. So the thing that I've noticed about conservatives is this is my perspective, and I just want to clarify, I don't think you're dishonest. I don't think I've accused you of lying or anything like that. I said on my show, we have a disagreement. I think we have a fundamental disagreement.
Hang on.
But what I've noticed is that a lot of conservatives, there's really like two acceptable
very handsome
positions.
He's not wearing a tie.
And
he looks much better when he's not wearing a tie.
You're pro-Israel, and you see these guys like Shapiro and Levin and Prager and the usual suspects, and they all want us to go and give Israel all our money and send our aircraft carriers, and we have to support the moral case for Israel. And then on the other side, the other acceptable position is you can be anti-Palestinian, where you maybe don't talk so much about Israel or the Zionist influence, and instead you say, well, the problem here is these domestic protests with Muslims, and that Hamas is like BLM, and that Hamas doesn't actually hate Israel, they just hate white people, like the left. And to me, I look at these two acceptable positions, and they're sort of the same. It's like heads I win, tails you lose. You can either be pro-Israel or anti-Palestine, but you can't be in this position where you say I'm pro-America, and actually that means that I'm actually a little more anti-Israel in this case than I am anti-Muslim. And so that's where I'm coming from. I want to be the guy that says, you know, I'm actually more offended by the Zionist infiltration of America. Doesn't mean I support mass Muslim migration, but that's, to me, the bigger urgency. Muslims haven't taken over America. Zionists have. So that's where I'm coming from. And I just think maybe we disagree on that.
All right. Nick Fuentes, AmericaFirstFoundation.org on Rumble. Nick J. Fuentes. We'll come back. I'll respond for a few minutes to what you just said. We continue on with our topics. And then hopefully we were able to do this with Ye. We can get some, towards the end, some other topics. Because, see, I just don't just focus on Israel. I'm not saying you do that, but some people do, and I'm really sick of it. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
All right. Sadly, we had technical difficulties in that one. So hopefully there are no more technical difficulties.
Funded by the big banks as a battering ram.
I wish we'd been able to hear more of his opening statement.
Digital economy and
the stream on Rumble is just down now.
All branches of government are attacking we the people, and they offer us only one option: a meaningless vote in a rigged election. What we can do is be prepared, and you can support the InfoWar by shopping at InfoWarStore.com for products to help you through good times and bad. And you can share the videos at band.video. Our best hope still is, and always has been, a mass awakening. So download the videos, share them, upload them, and send them everywhere. Let the world unite for truth, justice, and 1776 worldwide.
I wonder how much money Alex Jones actually makes off all this
Be
stuff.
the first to get my new book. It's incredible and fun. The InfoWar, The Great Awakening, Defeating the Globalists and Launching the Next Great Renaissance at InfoWarStore.com. Look how much thicker it is than The Great Reset. That was an excellent book as well. Look at that. It is a thick book. It is incredible. Let me tell you, overhead shot, please.
Oh, come on. I don't want to see another book commercial.
And it was like 600 pages. We had to cut it down to 400. The Great Awakening, Defeating the Globalists and Launching the Next Great Renaissance. And I recorded this. I wrote this. Kid Heckin Lively, that is a great proofreader and researcher, went over everything I said and made sure all of it was bibliographed, all of it was footnoted, all of it was documented. That's what they did.
Like, who's buying Alex Jones' supplements? This is an honest question. Who buys Alex Jones' supplements?
Or by Stephen K. Bannon. And you read this sucker, order it
How
now,
does he make this much money from, like, supplements that probably aren't even very good?
Forward. Bayonet in the back of the deep state.
You know, I guess we each their own.
Chapter 1. The Threat of Artificial Intelligence. Chapter 2. Mao is in charge of the Democratic Party, and political violence is bad except when it's directed at Alex Jones. Chapter 3. You're being modified against your will, and to what end? Chapter 4. They want you to be a teenager on an allowance, and that's just the beginning. Social credit score. Chapter 5, the eternal war of the tyrants. Chapter 6, The War Machine, Chapter 7.
You guys
the Deep
have
State
actually bought his
makes its move.
supplements?
Chapter 8, The Education of Tucker
All
Carlson,
right.
Joe Rogan, as well as others. That whole inside baseball there. Chapter 9, Jeffrey Epstein, Renfield, to the globalist Draculas, who even worse, because they prey on their own children. They drink their own children's blood. I name names. Chapter 10, the COVID-19 lies and deception. Chapter 11, selling your soul to Hollywood and probably the CIA. Chapter 12, combat tactics for victory. Chapter 13, the final battle. Chapter 14, conclusion, how you know you're winning.
Okay, so people seem to be recommending the toothpaste.
That's writing for Alex Jones. The notes,
I'm not going to sell supplements, Bob.
and
That's
all
not
the
going to
different
happen.
footnotes. It is powerful. It is well written. It is well documented. It is.
Did
ready
Alex
for
Jones
war.
actually
And
write
it's
this
available
book?
right
Who
now
wrote
at
it?
Infowarsstore.com or 888-253-3139. You get it at Amazon, that's fine. We want to push it to number 1. Amazon says deliver by the 24th. We're going to start shipping the 20th as well, so you get by the 24th. But you can get exclusive signed copies at Infowarsstore.com or unsigned copies. Then we get even more support. The Great Awakening, Defeating the Globalists, and launching the next great renaissance. And it's got a big write-up at Infowarsstore.com. I suggest you go read it right now.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Alex Jones.
The Rumble stream did go down the minute that Nick came on. I was annoyed. It seems like they're trying to go live again on Rumble. They're trying.
Coming up 4th hour.
From the front lines of the information war.
We're just going to do
it's
fan.video,
Alex
I
Jones.
think, because this seems to be working.
So I'm worried about technocracy. I'm worried about the New World Order, globalist WEF stated plan to make humans obsolete. You all know Harari. The future is not human. And they're rolling their plan out. They mean business. And I get the debates, the different perspectives of people that are worried about the Israeli lobby and see what Israel's doing and get sick of it. I understand that perspective. Then I see Israel, though, is a very diverse country, just like Justin Trudeau only gets 23% of the vote. Netanyahu's getting like 30-something. So there's a fight there. It's like America. I mean, here's a perfect example. We've got leftist groups in Chicago, New York, Miami, going to kosher grocery stores and just screaming and yelling and saying shame on any Jew or other people coming in and out of there, workers. Whereas I actually know the numbers, I'd have to say 50% of Jews, at least in America, are actually pro-Palestinian. And you've seen like ADL workers out pulling down signs of the Jewish people that have been held hostage. And you see the Washington Post saying they're not hostages, they've been detained. So what I'm saying is there's a larger calculus here where the globalists of the UN are bringing in all these Muslims. They're organizing them to be socialist, communist, and to join the leftist parties, whether it's the Democratic Party here or the Labour Party in the UK. And I see their power really rising and them joining with the left. Now, I've seen a few good spots like Dearborn where they said, you know, we're right-wing, we're pro-America. We're not going to put up the LGBT flag. We're going to put up the American flag. And I see them saying, hey, Muslims protesting, saying we're not going to have, you know, drag queen pedophile time in our schools. So I don't hate Muslims either. I just see them as billions of people that main religion says we're going to take you over. And then I see them allied with the left, and boy, I see that combination. I'm like, woo! So I didn't get a call, as you guys like to say, and like, you have two acceptable things: be pro-Israel to the hilt and say murder all of the Palestinians, or you can just bash the Palestinians. I'm saying, like AOC saying, she's going to bring them here. I'm like, no, you're not. So that's not me taking the, hold on. What am I supposed to say now, Netanyahu? Yes, sir. I mean, that is my legit, I'm against open borders, period. I'm on record, Nick. So
I don't know why people
like expect
Egypt to have open borders and they don't want them
I just
here.
think that the, you know, this dialectic that you're talking about, it's true that there's factionalism in Israel. It's true that there's factionalism in Jewry, but they are all on the same team fundamentally. And we know this because ADL.
I'm going to center the camera. When I get up, you're not bad. Just
okay.
Go ahead.
So the ADL, which you mentioned, they've had some of their employees tearing down these posters, but then the ADL fired them. Jonathan Greenblatt went on MSNBC and he demanded that they fire some of their pro-Palestinian commentators, which MSNBC then did. Now, a couple months ago, there was a big dispute between some of these right-wing Zionist Jews and the ADL, and people like myself and Keith Woods said the ADL is a problem because it's a Jewish group that's clearly controlling speech on social media. You know, Greenblatt goes and brags and says he's got a line in with YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and he tells them what to ban and what not to ban. We said, so we should get rid of the ADL. Then all these Zionist Jews come in and say, well, the problem isn't the ADL. They said the ADL has a noble mission, which is to fight anti-Semitism. They said the problem with the ADL is that they attack people that are pro-Zionist. And so in other words, the right-wing Jews, they don't really have a problem that a Jewish group controls speech. They have a problem that there's friendly fire sometimes.
I agree.
Because now, fast forward a month later, and all the Zionist critics of the ADL and the ADL are on the same side supporting Israel.
It is very funny that they're supporting the ADL now.
Like the ZOA did a year ago. He's now retweeting the ADL. And the ADL's on MSNBC saying, you got to fire all your pro-Palestine commentators. And so I'm a guy that's looking at this dialectic where you're either part of a Zionist right or you're part of this Jewish left. And I'm in the middle saying that I'm going to this dialectic where you're either part of a Zionist right or you're part of this Jewish left. And I'm in the middle saying that I'm an America First Christian, and I don't want to be influenced by Zionists or by atheist liberal Jews at the ADL. So, you know, and that's why I say there's this false dialectic that's being given, which you say you're not participating in. But again, there's a lot of people they want to focus on. And I watch your show, you focus on the Muslim immigration and you say, well, they're sending them to America. But there's Muslim refugees being created by Israel's wars.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and the head of the ADL promotes open borders. So let's shift gears. Just because some of these groups have agendas doesn't mean when I have an agenda of not having open borders and bringing in new Democrat voters that are brainwashed against the country, that's my perspective, and it isn't through the lens that you're saying. So let's expand bad because you're Jewish. So when I said the head of the ADL is the closest thing to Hitler I've seen, not that people go, oh, you're saying he's a Nazi. How ridiculous. No, I'm saying China is very race-based. So I said Xi Jinping and his policies are pretty close to Hitler. And then when the ADL is out teaching that Christians and Catholics are inherently bad and that critical race theory to first graders, teaching them that they're bad because of their color is incredible child abuse. But they're also on the left trying to teach kids they're another gender to cut their genitals off and sterilize them. So, and you're bad kids because the earth's dying. And they show them videos of polar bears that can't swim, which isn't true, and say they're all dying, even though their numbers are up 5 times. It's humans are bad, humans are ugly, you're all guilty. White people are the worst of all the groups. And
they don't actually say that. That's not what that means.
I'm literally, when they have, ADL galas, brother, they ain't talking about you. They're calling for my arrest. And they're behind the law firms trying to, like $20 million this year they spent trying to shut us down. It's in the federal filings. Okay. So let me tell you, the proof's in the puddings. Okay. They are literally bashing and attacking, and their main target is me and Trump. And Trump's like pro-peace in the Middle East. He's got Jewish grandkids. He doesn't hate Jews.
Well, to say they aren't targeting Nick Fuentes is just wrong, though. I'm sorry.
Globalist agenda is.
Like,
so
they are targeting him,
what's going on in Israel is the 10,000-foot view. But when you pull up even higher, I'm against war against Russia. And I believe the West started war with Russia. Well, Russia's pro-Palestinian. So you see, oh, now I'm supporting the Russians that are pro-Palestinian. Now I'm pro-Palestinian. No, I'm anti-nuclear war. So I have a very, quite frankly, sophisticated understanding of dialectics. And maybe it's over people's heads. I'm not trying to be arrogant. And so,
he does not understand the dialectic of the left. I'll tell you that. But Alex Jones does not understand that.
I'm sure as hell not getting a call, and I'm not part of the group that's controlled. I literally see Jews as diverse people. I see all these groups as diverse people, and I'm really trying to get people to say, hey, let's get bugs off the menu. Let's not cut the coal power plants off. Let's not tell kids they're inherently
Alex isn't wrong that he's been targeted, but Nick's been targeted too. They've both been targeted. Why is this a competition?
That's just it, though. I mean, the thing is about Jews is that what defines them is they reject Jesus Christ. Whether they're liberal atheists or they're religious Jews, they don't believe in Jesus. And the only reason, for what it's worth, that I said that you got the call in sort of a glib way is because after Ye and I appeared on your show, you went on Steve Crowder 2 days later and said that me and Kanye were gay for Hitler, and you went on this rant about how much you hate Hitler. and said that, we fetishize Hitler and all this sort of stuff.
Nick does kind of fetishize
It just seemed
Hitler.
to me, it came across like damage control. Now, maybe that was...
I love Hitler. I mean, maybe you don't fetishize him, but was drooling over him.
Well, I think that he likes the controversy. And at the same time, there's a lot of people that are fascinated with Hitler. Michael Jackson was fascinated with Hitler. John Kennedy was fascinated.
No, I mean, evil can be fascinating. Here's the deal. When I said to him, hey, my dad's dad was in Italy and in Germany during and after the war, and it shook him to his core. He'd never talk about it. But then later we read letters he'd written, and after he died, and I mean, literally, we're talking piles of dead bodies as far as you can see, disease, war, mass murder. And I said, hey, my grandfathers, he was like, your grandfathers don't know anything. So I just, it's like a skin in the game. I reject the ADL saying America's Hitler, and if Christians don't do what we say, you're Hitler. Screw the ADL, screw that guilt, screw the white guilt, go to hell, fuck you, ADL. But at the same time, I've actually done a study. It's one of the latest books. I didn't bring this in because you're here. Hitler Speaks, a series of political conversations with Adolf Hitler on his real aims. Nick, how many books you written or read by Hitler or about Hitler?
I haven't read book. I'm not a Hitler fetishist.
I've read about, so here I am saying I'm a Hitler fetishist. No, I wanted to understand who Hitler was. I've read probably 200 books on Hitler. And I've read what the Germans why do you think the German high command tried to kill him in 1943 and 44?
Tell me.
Because he was out of control and going to kill everybody, and he ended up killing 22 million Germans and 28 million Russians.
But is that why Hitler is canceled today for that reason? Or because
Hitler was a messianic maniac that thought he was God. He was anti-Christian.
I think, though, that people don't like him today because he was anti-Jewish. I mean, because if you're saying that
he saw them as the main competing group, and he thought they were in control, and he wanted to be numero uno. But just so, I mean, what do you think the world would be like under Hitler's view today? Most of us would be dead. I mean, I'd be here, but
But I'm not arguing for Hitler. I think what both Ye and I were expressing is that there is this Jewish control matrix, which puts Hitler in a special category. He wasn't the only dictator. He wasn't the only one who had concentration camps in the war.
Some might argue he wasn't even the worst.
Sister and brother died.
I might argue that Pol Pot was worse than Hitler.
Eisenhower ran concentration camps against the Germans, and we interned the Japanese, and on and on.
That's right. Eisenhower committed a real crime. He probably starved 4 million Germans to death.
Yeah, and because you're an expert, so you understand this. But Hitler's in a special category because the Holocaust narrative is what casts a shadow over the entire American political landscape. And we have to talk about Jewish power, right and left. You can say F the ADL. But would you say F the ZOA, the Zionist Organization of America?
Some could argue that Genghis Khan was worse than Hitler. Some could argue that.
I get Jews thinking they deserve it. Israel's tiny. And I know a lot of Jews that are really nice, smart people, and they're not going anywhere. They have nuclear weapons. And so I'd like to see the wars end. I'd like to see it not be a football issue. And so I'm a realist too. Israel's not going anywhere. And the Arab countries won't take the people out of the West Bank or Gaza because they want to keep the thing going. So, yeah, I mean, it's true. I don't have a hard-on for the Jews. I don't have a hard-on for the average Jew that sees just patriotic and their people and their thing for their club. It's like Crips and Bloods, but I'm not in either gang.
Well, I mean, you said earlier that ADL talks about you at their galas. They also said that I shouldn't be permitted to be back on Twitter. They said both of us in a list, you, me, Tate, Trump, Bannon, and David Duke. But the thing is, both the ADL and the ZOA called for me to be banned. Both the ADL, which represents the left-wing American Jewry, and the ZOA, which represents the right-wing Israeli Jewry, they both said Nick Fuentes should be banned on YouTube. And, you're tight with Bannon. Bannon's tight with the ZOA. And,
well, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I didn't follow what Bannon said about, you saying Bannon called for your banning?
Yeah. Bannon tried to get Gosar to disavow me. Bannon's like a huge
Seriously?
enemy of mine.
Well, wait, to get somebody to disavow you as his view, did he call for your censorship?
I don't know if he ever said it explicitly, no, but he's been...
Okay, well, let me tell you what I'm against. They tried to pass the law in Texas. They did in Florida. I had to read the law. I didn't believe it when I saw you and others attacking it as they were passing it last year or this year, whatever it was. When did they pass it? Last 6-8 months or so?
Yeah.
I mean, it literally is the end of the First Amendment. Yeah. So I'm criticizing the left coming after our speech in the ADL. This is it served up on a platter where they're going to arrest you for your speech. They're going to fire professors.
What?
No.
Oh, yeah.
The same
Fuck DeSantis.
professors say we
Fuck
don't have speech. They tried to stop me coming to speak
Fuck
there.
DeSantis.
But I mean, this is terrible. This is dangerous.
Seriously.
I agree with you.
I said that
that's why
DeSantis
you're here on
was
the
a
show.
statist as
I mean,
soon
I
as
think
he
you should be
started
heard
that
from.
Disney bullshit.
I mean, you compare to some leftist that says all white people need
You
to be
guys
gotten rid
scream
of and we're
about,
the
like,
devil.
censorship
And
on
then all
college
the weird
campuses
leftist
for
Jews that
years.
agree with it. Now the left sees them as
Texas
white.
is-
I mean, that's wrong. So, I mean, I would say, all this anti-white stuff, the liberal Jews saying whites are bad and everybody else saying it, they are baby Hitlers.
Yeah, well, and I know what you mean by that. And here's the thing. I think you're an honest guy. I've always said that. I think you're an honest guy, and you do have a sophisticated worldview for 20, 30 years. You've been putting that out, and that's why I've always been a fan of yours. I think where we disagree is that you see some benefit to allying with these Zionist Jews, and I'm against both the right and the left wings of Jewry in the world. I think that they're both toxic.
Well, let's be clear.
Apparently, Rumble just took the video down.
I've been smart enough when the ADL attacks me and these groups do to not then blame all Jews. They get, the ADL is getting record contributions right now. Oh, come on. Yeah. They go out and stir up stuff and put bad agendas with Jews' name on it to get attacked to get more money. So I'm not allied, quote, with whatever group you're saying.
Zionists. I think because when you say that when you say the World Economic Forum's after Netanyahu and Israel's diverse, and it's true, Soros and the ADL are against Netanyahu. I don't think that makes Netanyahu good. I don't think that makes the Zionists good.
Okay, well, let's just be clear. That's what we're getting at. Israel's a 10,000-foot view.
Rumble censoring speech again.
You were on the show or you responded to it. Can you quote it? Because I don't remember. You said Alex needs to focus on Zionism and this and that, not on Bilderberg and things that don't matter.
Anything.
Brother, they're calling the shots. I mean, they are the king daddies. They got the big swinging dick. So, I mean, you don't know that? I'm not trying
I think that's where the disagreement lies, because you put the blame at the feet of Klaus Schwab and Bilderberg as an institution and
BlackRock, which should feed into your thing. He's Jewish, Larry Fink.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, that's the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, and Larry Fink is Jewish, and Larry Fink has responded.
Yeah, but I mean, Klaus Schwab's the grandson and son of the number 3 Hitler's dude. I mean, I'm telling you, the top man, it's not Jew anything. It's dehumanization. I mean, you listen to Yuval Noah Harari literally saying humanity's over. We're scum.
Has Nick said
nothing.
anything that's censor-worthy?
Hitler
Seriously.
was saying kill most
Have
groups,
either of
which was
them?
bad. Harari says we're all done. I mean, that's like Hitler 10.0.
Yeah. Well, and I think the transhumanist thing is fashionable, but when you talk about Bilderberg, one of the members of the steering committee is Jewish. One out of the 2 of the co-chairs of steering committees.
And go through that. I'll give you the floor and I'm going to shut up. But I'll give you the rest of the segment. We got 8 minutes. But respond to me. You said, why is he focusing on stuff that doesn't matter? And I forget the exact quote, isn't powerful. Let me tell you, the WF and the Bilderberg group, I mean, they are calling these shots. And they don't like Netanyahu for whatever reason. I think because like Trump, he's trying to set his own thing up. Go ahead. I'll shut up.
Yeah. So our disagreement back then is I said that you tend to focus.
By the way, I got an earpiece in my ear.
Okay.
I'm going to get a fresh cup of coffee. I'm listening to every word. I'm not disrespecting leaving here. All right,
yeah, that's cool.
You're hosting right now.
Yeah.
Hey, baby Hitler hosts the show. There's your headline.
The host, yeah.
I resign, Nick. You're the new host. How would you like that?
The Nazi takeover of, no, of course not. No, I'm America first. But, well, he can hear me in the earpiece. But the difference of opinion is where the true seat of power actually is. And the Bilderberg Group and the World Economic Forum, these are institutions which host multinational companies and representatives from governments. So Bilderberg does not, in my opinion, have any real power. The power is the people that attend Bilderberg. The World Economic Forum doesn't have power. The power lies in the people that attend the World Economic Forum. You know, what is the World Economic Forum? It's a meeting of 3,000 multinational corporation leaders and government officials. The power rests in those people. And like Alex said, the technocrats, the planners. Now, when you look at the demographics of who those people are, the top hedge fund managers, the people that are running the major companies, and Larry Fink of BlackRock, there's a large Jewish representation. There's a huge overlap between the people that attend Bilderberg and, by the way, the people that donate to Benjamin Netanyahu's prime minister campaign in Israel. And I think that the transhumanist sort of thing, when people talk about the Carnegie Endowment and the State Department civil society stuff, I think that that's basically a deflection from the fact that the character of all these people, I mean, their early life section, they all happen to be Jewish. And the real evil in the world, as we know, is the antithesis of God. It's the devil. So who's the antithesis of God and the devil? It's the Antichrist. And you look around the world at who are the people that are on the side of good. You know, if in a spiritual dimension is God versus the devil.
Don't do it.
And it's Christ versus the Antichrist.
Oh, no.
When we bring it down to the level of what's happening in the world, it's the Christians representing God. It's the Christians representing Jesus.
No.
And who's on the other side representing the devil? Who's on the other side representing the rejection of Christ?
Oh, God.
Well, if you look in Israel, it's the people banning the gospel.
Oh, no.
This Likud Netanyahu government, yeah, the World Economic Forum, maybe some of their members are critical. But Netanyahu's government proposed a law that would ban the preaching of the gospel in the Holy Land. In Netanyahu's government, they have these radical, extreme religious Jews that spit on Christians.
We're about
Christians
to have
make
another
a
holy
pilgrimage
war
to the Holy
incident.
Land, and these so-called right-wing Jews that support Israel and are religious, they spit on the Christians. They desecrate the churches there. And so I just don't see anything redeeming about that. And a lot of right-wingers say that Netanyahu is supposed to be part of the global populist uprising, the nationalist resistance. The truth is that he can never be a part of it. The right wing of organized Jewry in the world can never be a part of that because they're not Christian. They reject Jesus. And so it's like I said on the earlier show, when I look at the two poles of morality, my pole is not Hitler versus anti-Hitler. It's Christ versus Antichrist. It's not Jews being the anti-Hitler versus Hitler being against the Jews. It's Christians being in favor of Jesus and Jews being against. So I guess that's the difference of opinion. I don't think you're a shill. I don't think that you're out there taking marching orders, but I think maybe that's the fundamental disagreement is where does the power truly lie? Is it this collection of esoteric groups pursuing a Gnostic plan for transhumanism, or is it Christians and Jews going back 2,000 years to the Pharisees?
I mean, I guess a lot of it is.
I mean, Israel did
up,
call him that Christian church, if we're honest about it. That was kind of effed up.
And he went to college, and a couple of his buddies, and one of his roommates, one of his names Jim Levy, is a geologist, and I haven't done it since I was, probably 16 years old. But we used to go out and
see, this is kind of what I think too, though.
Stars. He used to. Me and my dad would go on hunting trips with him. We would also go and look at geology fields and find fossils. He was just a loving, funny, sweet guy. And my dad's Jewish friends.
I agree with Adrian if this ever comes up on my screen.
We're just really nice people. And so I guess, I guess you could almost call him kind of rabbinical. You had a big beard, and Levi obviously means priest class and all that.
Just because you don't believe that
when we say Judeo-Christian,
Jesus was the Son of God, doesn't
really
mean
it is the
him.
Abrahamic religions. And the Jews have made a lot of contributions to things. So I just love humanity so much, Nick, that I see the bad in people, and I see the horrible little Nosferatu creature that's the head of the ADL that behind the scenes has debanked us and run the war against us. And I refuse to give him what he wants to attack the Jews so he can then suck all their money up and control them. I mean, it's a very simple play he's doing, him and Abe Foxman and the rest of these guys. And they're just a Jewish mafia. And just like the Italian mafia, quote, helps the neighborhood, but really sucks off of them. I want to see us all transcend this together. And that's what I'm getting at. Because, when I covered a story about Tyson Foods is going to put bug protein in their products now, I don't look, well, how do I make this about Jews? That's the biggest meat packer in the country.
Seriously?
I'm like, most of what I'm doing is not obsessed with Israel. I do want to go to Israel someday. I've never been there. I want to go to Egypt. Every time I'm about to go, it's not safe. I want to go to Russia. It's so fascinating. I'll be accused of being a Russian agent. I got a visa once and made a joke about it. They went, oh, look, he's going to Russia. He's a Russian agent. I'm not a Russian agent. I'm not a Zionist agent. I'm not any of this. I mean, look at China. They're 1.5 billion people, and nothing against Chinese people on average, but they are the most homogenous race-based group, genetically similar, and they're extremely racist. I mean, on average. And every time I talk about China taking over Hollywood and China involved in everything, I see the comments, oh, he's coming up from the Jews. I mean, if I slip on a banana peel today, it's not Jews.
Okay, but a lot of things are Jews. Wouldn't you say that? Or do you disagree? When you look at the Iraq War, when you look at mass migration and the ADL and censorship, and when you look at the porn industry and
you don't think part of it was weapons?
You think the porn industry is
oil
Jewish?
Deals? I mean, it's just all the Jews.
I think it was primarily for Iraq. It was primarily
I don't know
the
about
Israelis
that, guys.
and the neocons. Absolutely,
I think that's
they
a little
wrote
bit
it
of
up
a
in the clean
stretch.
break paper in 96.
No, you're right. That was Wesley Clark exposed that.
Yeah.
That's because he was trained by the CIA and they had all their people in there so they could set him up. He was just a weak country to take down.
I think that they opposed him because he was actually a strong country and he sent missiles against
you guys
Israel.
Think the entire
and
porn
the Israelis weren't
Jewish.
even the neocons in America were more in favor of it than the Israelis because the Israelis
I don't care if OnlyFans
partially
is
recognized,
Jewish. You guys
like
know how big the
Saudis
porn
in America,
industry is?
that if we took out Saddam, Iran would fill the power vacuum. Now they want to take out Iran.
Well,
okay,
yeah,
that's not
Saddam
real,
did
guys.
want
That's
an
not
Arab
hinged into
uprising
reality. I'm sorry.
Against Israel, which have led to a nuclear war. See, that's the problem. Is Iran has nuclear weapons. That's confirmed. They don't admit that they do. So does Israel. They got a bunch of them. So everybody keeps wanting to drive Israel, into the sea. Well, that's nuclear conflagration. That's the Samson option.
Well, and I don't support that.
Guys, porn has
that's what the
existed
Saudi
as
Arabians
long
keep
as
trying to do a
humanity
deal.
has existed.
Because they like golf courses and hotels and jet aircraft and Ferraris, like everybody. It's normal. I mean, I want to see good in the Muslims, and I see Saudi Arabia's had a lot of problems, but their reforms have been substantive.
I agree.
Okay, well then, I mean,
we have to use our leverage to make Israel make a deal, but the tail wags the dog. That's a problem.
Well,
all right,
let's come back and talk about Russia.
Here's my problem. I'm going to turn the volume down because I don't
Force
want.
Plus 50% off.
Where's my
Get
volume?
It while it lasts. Learn all about it. DNA Force Plus is the perfect formula.
I'm going to turn. Hang on.
Body to handle the day.
My computer is running so slow right now. I can't even turn down the volume in my own browser. Okay.
Flagship supplement of InfoWarsStore.com. DNA Force Plus 50% off flash sale. InfoWarsStore.com. Take advantage of this while supplies last.
A lot of people have asked me, why is InfoWars Store and InfoWars Live not at a probiotic?
So I want to say this. So
the
like,
there
are no fireworks. I cancel the community Zoom for this. I want fireworks. I want yelling. I want arguing. I feel like Alex Jones is distracted by something. I feel like Nick is not bringing the fire that I expected him to bring. Nick is a Leo. I want more fucking fire.
We're able to private label it under InfoWars MD as our probiotic.
Yeah, apparently the groypers are
standing
back and standing by
for amazing gut health and more.
I'm disappointed so far, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real with you. I am disappointed so far in what's happening.
I think you're gonna have an amazing effect. And
if I do this, I have to do this. I can bring the volume down. There we go. Now I can actually hear myself. Like, I just don't. I feel first of all like I wanted the conversation to be more about like what they were trying to do in the beginning, which is like explain the situation and kind of explain how Nick sees it. And Rosa, I don't want to hear it, honestly. And like I wanted to get more of his perspective on the situation. Now I feel like they've gone all the way around. Like it was like almost immediately he brought it over to the Kanye thing, which I don't think they really needed to talk about. And now they're bringing it up and I'm talking about like Bilderberg and the WEF, which is fine. But I wanted more analysis on the whole Israel-Palestine thing. And I kind of feel like they just skipped right over it. I mean, maybe Nick did a little bit in the beginning and then Alex Jones was like, yeah, I think we agree on a lot of that. That wasn't a debate. There was no fire there. Guys, there is no way in this universe you're going to convince me that Jews control all porn. I'm sorry. Like, there's just, it's not going to happen in any way, shape, or form. In my wayward youth, I had more experience. I'm not saying I made porn. I never made porn, but I had friends that made porn. And so, like, I have more experience, like, milling about that whole thing than I would admit to now, except I'm doing it live on the internet. I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to buy the argument that porn is controlled by the Jews. That's not going to happen in any way. Well, most porn is created by people who are basically independent contractors, though. So no, the Jews don't own it. Now, some Jews might own some websites that people work as independent. What you're saying to me is like, if I go to work as an independent contractor for someone, then that person then owns me. And that's not true. That's just fundamentally not true. All the work I've done for years is mostly independent contractor work, where I used to work for like really big organizations. I'm sure some of them were controlled by Jews, some of them not, some of them were, fine. But like you're saying that like someone who is an independent contractor is owned by that's just not true. I'm sorry. That is just fundamentally false. Fundamentally false. You are saying that though, because that's functionally the relationship that exists. Like here's the thing, guys. When you make bullshit arguments like this that can be just easily undercut by people who have like basic life experience and stuff like that, you undercut every other valid argument that you make. So if you want to die on the hill of Jews control all porn, I'm going to say, well, you're not a rational human being. That's not the way it works. I know directly that's not the way it works. And that doesn't make any sense. And so if you're going to be so fucking unhinged about that, then why should I believe anything else that comes out of your mouth? Because you are not being reasonable and rational about this. I know that directly. So why should I believe anything else you have to say? Anyway, we're waiting for this to come back. I hope we're going to get some more fireworks. There are good arguments that you guys can make. There are. But when you litter really shitty, unhinged arguments in with the good arguments, then I mean, is your guys' argument that you want to prevent people who are Jewish from owning anything? Because I don't think that seems reasonable. I believe in private property. Is your argument that you really don't, you want to prevent Jews from owning anything? Because that's a little anti-Semitic, bro. Anyone should be able to own private property. Anyone should be able to start a business. Again, it's like you guys should do better about. No, they don't, because the vast majority of porn is made from independent contractors. Like, this is just not true. I'm sorry. This is an unhinged argument. Do not insult me. That's one of the rules. Do not insult me. Do not insult other people here. If you got something you want to say, be a big boy and make an argument. Make a rational argument. We're just waiting for the debate to come back right now, guys. Yeah. Adult entertainment has always been a thing as long as there's been people in the world. There is nothing wrong with making money off of something. That's what capitalism is. We're capitalists on this channel. We like capitalism. Capitalism is pretty rad. Then go somewhere else, bro. You don't have to be here right now. You don't have to be here at all. If you're not going to follow my rules, you don't have to be in my house. I'm trying to give you advice and you're getting all your fifis hurt because you're children and you're not listening to reason. Again, if you guys want to go around saying, the Jews own all the porn, the Jews own all the porn, if that's the argument you want to make, then go right ahead. But I think it's an unhinged argument that undercuts every single slight ounce of credibility that you might have. So you're owning yourself there, bro. You're owning yourself there. Oh, we're getting along so well. We were getting along so well, and now you're gonna get banned on my channel. Oh, goodbye. Goodbye. We have 2 rules on this channel, guys. Do not insult me. Do not insult anyone else in the chat. You are in my house. You would never come in my house and insult me to my face. You're not gonna do it on my channel either. If you can't be adults, then you don't need to be here and you can go somewhere else. All right. Looks like they're coming back.
Would bring you down forever, but you rode upon a steamer.
Speaker Mike Johnson won the GOP nomination for House Speaker today, defeating Representative Byron Denockles, and becoming the fourth Speaker designated selection by his party. Representative Kevin McCarthy, historical removal as Speaker, and the second in a single day. I did some quick searches during the break. We're on that Owen Schroyer.
Can't be
We're airing that
adults.
Owen
You don't need
Schroyer
to be
update.
here.
And it looks like Jim Jordan likes him. I like Jim Jordan, but I've got to drill into this, so I've got to withhold my view until we know more. So get the brains here in the office looking into that to give me their perspective during the next break.
Is my mic still being
Fuentes
weird?
Is here, and I'm always accused of having diarrhea of the mouth, which is actually true. I'm a talk show host. So a lot was said last hour. You're with us for the rest of the hour. I believe you're going to be on the War Room today.
That's right. Yeah.
Great. So 3 p.m. Central. But you got the floor. I mean, I'm gonna really try to just shut up and let you say whatever you want.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, like we were talking about before, I think that the number one issue, and we talked about this on the American Journal, I think the number one issue that we have right now is that America has to become a Christian nation. And as a Christian nation, needs to have Christian leadership. And, you know, you say that you have your father, grandfather are friends with Jewish people, and they seem like nice people. I'm not out here saying that Jewish people aren't capable of being nice or good people or anything like that, but they don't worship Jesus Christ. And the Bible tells us there's only one way to the Father. There's only one way to the true, the good, and the beautiful, and that's through Jesus. When I look around at whether it's the ADL or the ZOA, when it's the left wing or the Zionists, neither of them respect or worship Jesus. And as a consequence, they can't be right. What's more, their allegiance is to their own tribe rather than America. You know, not only am I a Christian, but I'm also America
issue,
first.
is that
so
they're
when I look at this
putting
conflict,
Israel above America.
I wonder what your take on
my
this
current issue.
is, because I've seen this, and this has made me more angry than anything. And
well, don't invite me to interrupt, or it's going to happen.
No, well, because I really am interested in your take on this, because maybe this is a source of common ground. I'm with you. When I see the Muslims protesting, it makes me mad, because I'm thinking, what are they doing here? They belong over there, not over here. When they do the call to prayer, they're waving their flags. I'm thinking those people belong in Syria, Palestine, and Iraq. But what makes me even angrier is when I see Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, and I'm not inviting you to attack them necessarily, but I'm just wondering what you think about this. These people, they don't seem to care about America. The country's being invaded by immigrants, like you point out.
I don't care about the immigration issue, but
forced vaccinations are occurring, and they had the vaccination at Fox. They had a vaccine mandated Fox News at Daily Wire. They had an agreement with Google not to discuss it on YouTube. Now, they were never that mad, though, or emotional about it. Israel gets attacked 2 weeks ago, and I've never seen Shapiro angrier than he has been these past 2 weeks.
This is my issue.
I've never seen the kind of
I agree
Herculean
with him
effort.
here.
It's like an alarm went off with Levin and Shapiro, and they go on Fox and they threaten this
because
country.
it's my
They say,
channel,
if
bro, and I'll
America
do what I
doesn't
want.
give
You want to
Israel
watch it
everything
without my
needs,
commentary? You can
Israel's
go somewhere
gonna
else.
nuke everybody, and it's like this nuclear blackmail. And it's like, hang on a second.
I don't think it's like that. I think that's just what it is.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering your thoughts on that, because to me, that's like rogue state behavior, and it's like a fifth column in the United States that they have that influence.
This is why I have trouble answering really important questions like this, because there's so much data. Where do you start? So let's just start here. I agree. Ben Shapiro supported the shots, supported the censorship. Levin, and didn't say much about the border. Levin did. He was against the border stuff. So I think those are two different people. And I like Levin a lot more than I like Ben Shapiro. I mean, Ben Shapiro was like, yeah, censor Jones, he deserves it. You know, take all the shots, shut up and take it. It works great. So, I mean, I think if you're looking at who's bad, and I'm not in competition with him. Here's the thing. He's another talk show host. He's successful. He's got billions of dollars behind him. I'm not bashing him because he's a successful talk show host. I'm bashing him because once things become popular and he's lost, now he's against the shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like Ben Shapiro. Let's just get that straight.
Ben Shapiro is not
I don't think Levin is. I think Levin likes America. I watch his show a lot. He's a smart guy, actually. And from his perspective, I'm not going to blame anybody for being loyal to what
I
they
wouldn't
stand
say
for.
it's blood and soil,
But
I
pull
don't
back
agree
from
with it
this,
either. I
again,
think there's a happy
I think
medium
the whole
between
Israel
it being blood
Palestinian
and
thing becomes a
soil
distraction
and
from
like just
war
not
in
agree.
Ukraine
Not a happy medium.
and
There's
dollar
a difference.
devaluation and
I just don't agree
fentanyl
with it.
and pedophilia and social credit scores and UN treaties for forced injections and the WEF. In all fairness,
But there are
maybe
bigger
you're right,
problems
maybe I'm
right
wrong.
now, and maybe we
I
can
just
argue
think
about
what
that
I'm
later.
covering is the most important stuff. And so it's a perspective thing. And I don't think there's any sacred cows. You know, when the ADL literally certifies the curriculum in colleges down to the first grade, telling children they're bad because they're Christian or white or Catholic, and the government says Catholics, conservative Catholics, are number one threat, I say, Katie, bar the door. You can't criticize Nick Fuentes for what he says that's race-based or whatever when you're 10 times more extreme. So I'm saying that. All I want to be recognized as, I'm really trying to have an honest, open debate about this.
Well, yeah, and I think everybody recognizes that, and that is what made you such a target, is because you have this phenomenal reach and you have this impressive studio and you have a real following, real loyalty to you. And I think they recognize very early
Well,
on.
right. They hate the viewers because the power they have.
Exactly.
This is about cutting them off.
Well, yeah, because you are able to reach them and you're able to give them an independent source of information. And it's really a power struggle because
I don't think that they mean
with
fascism.
such a media
I
influence.
don't think he means,
become
well,
powerful.
the groypers might.
You,
I don't think
because
he
of
means
your
that,
listeners, and because the trust that they have in you, and because you're able to provide them with real information, they recognize you
not
as an
in any
independent
serious way.
base of power in the country. And that threatens their monopoly on information and on the creation of opinion.
Well, that's right. The final equation, it's all about how many people can you mobilize.
Yeah.
It's very cool. But so then let's bring in communist China. You've got Governor Newsom over there saying we're going to have nothing but electric cars, which are almost all from China. I'm not against Chinese people. That's the dominant force. And whenever I attack China, I see the attacks. Oh, God, covering up for Israel. They're the main power. No, China and Israel, by the way, is given a lot of our technology.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I see that as if Israel's a 100-pound gorilla, the 1,000-pound gorilla is China.
It's true. China is a true geopolitical adversary. Honestly, though, I maybe we disagree a little on this. I actually support China's rise. I support the Chinese-Russia coalition because I look at the American state, which has targeted people like you and me, and I think that the more that the American state recedes, the better that is for us.
Yeah, but just because the people running us are bad doesn't mean in the vacuum we want the Chi
That's
comes.
short-sighted.
Right?
That's short-sighted.
Like, I'm not against the Russian people because China is expansionary. Putin cut weapons funding, pull back. We're going to do organic farming and promote our families and have Russians. That is a beautiful message. I support Vladimir Putin in that. We need to have children. We're Christian, organic farming. Russia's just trying to defend itself. China was set up by the globalists. It's like cancer. It's expansionary. So just because Russia's run to China to save itself, there was a big Russian-Sino split. The globalists always tried to make that split. Now they've caused that convergence. This is into very sophisticated RAND Corporation projections, Nick.
I think that the State Department and the Defense Department are very mobilized against China. I think they want a war with China. That's why.
Yeah, because they didn't keep following orders. And so you're right. It's kind of nice. There's a split, but it's like Hitler and Stalin had a deal till Operation Barbarossa in 42, 43, and then they butted heads. So I'm saying, yeah, there's been a globalist alliance with China that's broken. But just because it's broken, just because I don't like the New World Order, the globalist, doesn't mean I like Xi Jinping.
I do like Xi Jinping, though. Because
so you like
breaking news, there's a new
Muslims
Speaker of the House. It's Mike Johnson. I don't know who that is.
I think that's propaganda. It's seriously. I mean, when I
I went in about it because I tore my Achilles 9 years ago,
and I don't care anymore.
Almost completely gone. So my right leg's a crutch now. I can still run, but not well. And I went to 6 different doctors in Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, and they all said, "Oh, don't worry, we got tissue grown in China." And when I asked to see the paperwork, they went at 2 of the places. They go, "Yeah, it's a cadaver." China's selling body parts, brother.
Yeah, China murders political prisoners.
I gotta have a cadaver part, and I morally cannot be part of killing some Falun Gong person.
Exactly. Alex Jones knows what's up. China's fucking evil.
I just think that when people talk about the Uyghur concentration
camps,
I just
Christian
feel like that's State
to
Department
murder political prisoners, to sell
atrocity
body
propaganda
parts.
to get us to view China as evil rather than a geopolitical competitor.
What I think you're doing, Nick, I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'll try to shut up and stick a sock in my mouth for 5 minutes is I don't want to be accused of not giving you time. This is a great discussion, a great debate. China's own government admits that Mao Zedong killed at least 65 million of their own people. So during the Cultural Revolution, Great Leap Forward, they forced people to move off their farms and killed 60 plus million people. So, I mean, David Rockefeller endorsed Mao Zedong when he died in a New York Times op-ed. Are you really sure? I mean, because are you sure China's good?
I'm not saying they're good. I'm just saying that I don't think it's, when we call them evil, this is what states do. Because the United States would never be whipped up into a frenzy to go to war with Russia, China, Iran, if they thought that they were just adversaries, if they thought that they were just competitors or rivals.
Nick is talking about
so that's why in every case they need to
propaganda.
say Putin is kidnapping orphans.
He's
and he
talking
bombed
about
a
how,
maternity ward.
okay,
And the
they're having two
Palestinians
different
decapitated a
conversations is
million
what's
babies.
happening.
No, I get it. They use that foreign threat to set up tyranny here. I totally agree.
And well, and I think they do the same thing with the Uyghurs. I think that, you know, for example, they talk about the social credit system in China. We have the same thing in America. We have a social credit system in America. It's hardly any different. In fact, it's worse because at least in China, the social credit system rewards good citizenship, and America punishes good citizenship. So I feel like with a lot of
well, let me just be clear. And Nick, maybe you might be smarter than I am, but I was really dumb when I was your age. I'm impressed by how smart you are at your age. So it's not a put down. You just learn a lot. I've studied Russia, and other than being a strong arm and having problems, I find out of the whole world, the best public push for families and children and Christianity, because I see that. And I'm not a Russophile. I'm not a Russophobe. I just call it like I see it. When I see China with the human animal clones and all of it, man, I see the nastiest thing I've ever seen. I'll just be, I mean, brother, I do some studying. I love it. It's what I read what the Communist Party Central Committee puts out. And I'm telling you, China is bad. They're bad.
Yes. Alex
Chinese
Jones
are
is right.
bad.
Well, and
Nick
I'm
needs to
not
look into
trying
this
to
more.
denigrate you, or I think you're more intelligent than me. I think you're the genius mastermind behind InfoWars, and it's nothing like that. I'm skeptical, and here's why. I think that the United States has become a very evil country too. I think that
I agree.
And yeah, and I think
well, just because we're evil doesn't mean another evil's okay.
But the difference is,
I'm gonna shut up. We're going to break in. I'm gonna shut up for 10 minutes. I'm shutting up right now. I'm gonna have to get up and walk off and drink a cup of coffee. Just go ahead.
So I think that the difference is the jurisdiction in China, they would support American dissidents where America doesn't. You and I are dissidents in the United States. That means that we support American sovereignty. And in a sense, we're sort of in like a knife fight with the powers that be, because if we win, they lose. It's a zero-sum game. If we and the Americans become sovereign, that means that the globalists are no longer sovereign. So we are total enemies. China is an adversary of the United States regime. And so necessarily China doesn't hate American dissidents as much as the American government does. Like I think about Snowden. When Snowden betrayed the NSA, where did he seek refuge? He sought refuge in Russia. And Russia was the only place that he could be safe.
Yeah, China wouldn't give it to him. That's what I'm saying.
Well, but Russia was the only place.
I only see virtue out of Russia. And I'm not, they're the best house in a bad neighborhood. And I'm not a Russophile. I just have I'm sorry. Shut up. I'm stopping. Nick, go ahead.
No, you're good.
No,
It's
I'm
lively.
shutting
It's
up
lively.
now. Shut up, Jones. Go ahead. I'm shutting up now.
But so in other words, the bigger that Russia and China are, to me, that's like the bigger the safe haven for people like you and I when they start trying to kill us. Because if the government tries to kill you and I, we can't go to South America. The CIA can get us there. If we go to the Middle East or anywhere else, they could get us there too. The only places where we'd be safe are the countries that are actually able to defend themselves from the United States. And so when I see Russia and China allied in the BRICS coalition to build an alternative system, to me, that's a system that I can participate in, whereas I can't participate in the American-led system. So I agree with you. I think that China does a lot of bad stuff. I don't think they're necessarily a good nation. You know, they're just like Israel. They're not Christian, and they have prohibitions on the spread of Christianity. But
they
I do think
literally
that they're better than what we have
murder
going on in the
people who
United
do it,
States. I
Nick,
think on
as
some
political
fundamental
prisoners to
level,
sell their organs.
it's almost like amorality being better than immorality. The United States is led by, you know, and I don't want to keep going back to it, but it's what it is. It's the ZOA on one side, it's the ADL on the other. On the one hand, it's these atheist, nihilist types, and they're totally against any kind of religion. They're totally against any conception of God and definitely against Christianity. On the other side, it's these religious foreign nationals that are trying to ban the gospel in the Holy Land. And even China recognizes that's who's really pulling the strings in Western society. They talk about it all the time. For them, it's just a geopolitical reality that when they confront the West, that's who they're dealing with. That's where the seat of power is. And so on the one hand, you have China that has really no morality. They've substituted Confucian tradition and they've substituted their Eastern philosophy. On our side, we have people that actively put Jesus up on the cross. And I sort of alluded to it earlier, but when you talk about like the creation of the state of Israel and you talk about World War I and you look at the role of types like Louis Brandeis.
I agree with you. This is like
Louis
not
Brandeis,
the debate.
who is the Chief Justice on the Supreme Court.
I agree.
And some
this is
say
not
it was
the
his
debate that I
personal
wanted.
intervention.
I'm very disappointed right now. It's
Woodrow
not
Wilson
Nick's
to bring
fault.
us to war in World War I. Louis Brandeis is part of a group called the Parashim, which is named after the Pharisees. And we all know what the Pharisees are responsible for. So when I see a battle between Confucian China, which is built on tradition, authority, respect for elders, deference, that sort of thing, and I see America, which is now
I also
become
feel like
just
Nick
total
is just
anarchy,
having a lot of deference
satanic
towards Alex,
godlessness.
and it's like,
It
can
doesn't
someone
mean
please
I'm
bring some
necessarily
fire?
pro-China, but I'll take China over what we have going on now. I said on my show, I wish China would invade us. They would probably take black crime seriously. They take the border seriously. They wouldn't be going to war for Israel in the Middle East. So in some sense, I feel like maybe that would be an improvement over what we have now, at least if they're a check on our power.
All right, I'll jump in here briefly. This is one of the big things that the anti-Israel lobby does that is dishonest. There are 6 major Hollywood production outfits. They've been bankrupt forever. And I said decades ago, as I was reading a Wall Street Journal article, and I talked to people I knew in Hollywood, they said, yeah, Saudi Arabia is the second largest group, but China's buying up everything. Now that's all admitted. So the joke was, Jones says China and Saudi Arabia own Hollywood. I was just reading headlines they were doing it. Now China controls 4 of the 6 outlets, and it's admitted that they fund this anti-America race war narrative to destabilize us. So it's true, China puts gays in prison, and it's true that they do all that, and that they're promoting 3 families or 3 children, nuclear families now. Xi Jinping broke with the West, wanting them to not have nuclear families because China's not under globalist control now. So it's kind of got its own version of its takeover. So I think China is in command of itself. That's why it's under attack by the globalists. So you're absolutely right. But China is still funding the left and the poisoning of America, just like Islam is working with the left in America. So I'm just saying that we should spend our time some on China and some on Islam, because, you're saying Judaism and Jewry, as you call it, is this monolithic pillar. I don't even see that.
Well, I said that there's factionalism there, but ultimately they are on the same team. And I gave you an example. The ADL crossed over and they said that MSNBC has to fire all their pro-Palestine guys. And by the way, I agree with you. The Saudis are influential. The Emiratis, the Qataris are influential. They've got a lot of money and they lobby our politicians.
Yeah, they're buying up golf and everything else.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And same thing with China. I think that we should prohibit China from buying land in America.
I do too.
I agree with that.
Buying companies.
I agree with DeSantis on that. What do you make of DeSantis and this legislation that literally outlaws criticizing Israel?
Bullshit.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with him hanging out with Miriam Adelson before he announced his campaign. I think that he runs Florida, and there's a heavy Jewish presence in South Florida. It's New York, LA, and South Florida.
Yeah, but I mean, you think the average American Jew really wants to ban free speech?
Yes.
I mean, because this is crazy.
Yes.
This is crazy.
Well, okay.
I agree. I don't think the average Jew wants to ban BDS, but I think that's the work of a very powerful Israel lobby.
I don't think the average Jew wants to ban free speech. Not this one, but he signed
a similar one in Israel.
A lot of them are coming out against it.
His first foreign trip as a congressman, he took to Israel. His first foreign trip as governor, he took to Israel. Before he announced his candidacy, he went on a 3-country trip, and the first one was Israel, where he met Miriam Adelson and a couple of other big Zionist donors. And this is where you get them signing these laws. And this is, by the way, where the ZOA criticism of the ADL comes from, because they say the ADL is promoting people like Ilhan Omar and BLM, which in turn support Hamas. So they don't criticize ADL for being anti-white. They criticize ADL for basically being implicitly pro-Palestine.
Why would the ADL openly fund the curriculum that whites are inherently evil. That is so racist.
That's not what the curriculum is. That's literally not what the curriculum is.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, they hate whites.
That
they
is
absolutely
not
hate
what
whites.
the
And they talk
curriculum
about they
is
want
at
America to be a
all.
white minority country. They want America to lose.
What is the point of that if the majority of white people are pro-Israel?
Well, I think that the point of that is that this is a quote
Because
from
the
Brett Stevens.
curriculum
Brett
isn't
Stevens
coming
used to write
from
at
them.
Jerusalem Post. Now he's at
That's
New York
not
Times.
where the God
He's like
damn
a
it,
big
these guys don't know
neocon
what the fuck
hawk
they're
who wrote
talking
this
about.
book, American Retreat. And it's actually
This is
interesting. It
not
predicted
real,
a
guys.
lot of what's happening now.
Neither of them know what's
but he's
going
in
on.
favor of all these wars. And Brett Stevens, he did a
No,
debate
Nick
with
does
Rabbi
not know what he's
Shmuley
talking about
4
on
or
this,
5 years
Jasmine.
ago about Trump. And the question is Trump good for the Jewish people? And I always love this quote because I think it summed it up nicely. He said that he's against Trump because Trump is hostile to the liberal international principles that have been so good to Jews. And when you really interrogate it and think about it, and Hitler talked about the same thing, it's that when you look at a truly open society, a truly liberal, international, open society, that tends to be where the Jewish diaspora feels the most comfortable. Because a lot of these liberal Jewish people, they don't want to move to Israel. They like living in Europe and America.
Groypers, whether you like it or not, neither Nick nor Alex Jones knows
when they see an
what's going
American
on in
flag
schools.
go up, it reminds them of
We
Hitler.
know that because we actually
And
watch
maybe
what's
you've seen
going
that
on
clip.
in
She
schools.
says, my boyfriend put an American flag up in the front lawn and it made me think of Hitler. And so they have this sort of histrionic fear of nationalism or of white solidarity because they recognize that in any kind of country that's Christian nationalist, or God forbid, if there's a white nation, well, they're going to stick out like a sore thumb and be the aliens. So it sort of behooves them for a country to be as diverse and sort of Star Wars cantina as possible because.
But isn't people that support that fighting the last war? They're like fighting.
We've actually watched it, bro. You guys have no fucking idea what you're talking
Israel,
about.
But, I mean,
we've
the
watched
left does
it
want to get rid of the West
directly,
and now they're
not
reaping the rewards
secondhand,
of that.
not
They're being
third
destroyed
hand.
by their own
We've
actions.
watched it directly,
and that's true. And I think that, but by the same token, when that happens, they're able to flex and defend themselves. Like, in England and France, they start deporting people immediately, which is amazing because the Muslim rape gangs have been there forever. They've been causing all kinds of problems. People have talked out about it and gotten censored for it. When they start supporting Hamas, deport it instantly, revoke their visas, explore every option. So, we just.
All right, we're interviewing baby Hitler.
I guarantee you
we'll be right back.
that
Stay
you
with
do
us.
not. Hang on. Let me turn this out so I can turn the sound down. So we can actually talk for a second. Bro, I guarantee you, you guys do not. There is no universe, Groypers. Hang on. Let me get this displayed on the screen if it ever wants to actually work today, because apparently today is a slow day. No, you guys do not watch what we watch. You guys might watch clips that are taken out of context. You might watch 2-minute sound bites that are posted on Libs of TikTok. We watch the actual classes from start to finish for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a week. Nick does not know what he's talking about when it comes to what's going on in the schools. Alex Jones does not know what he's talking about when it comes to what's going on in the schools. And every single person who is a regular on my channel will know significantly more than both Nick and Alex Jones combined about what is going on in the schools, because we have sat here and watched it from start to finish. So you can be like you can dig in your heels like a fucking child and you can say, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You can do that. But the people who have actually been regulars here will know exactly how ridiculous you look and how ridiculous you sound, because you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. You have not look at this. See, this is why, Groypers, I'm gonna be real blunt with you. This is why, like, you guys come across as ridiculous. What I want you to go do is read Marx's paper on the Jewish question, or you can watch the 4-hour stream that we did about Marx's paper on the Jewish question about 2 weeks ago for Socialism Saturday. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Marx did not like the Jews. That's just reality. And furthermore, the left doesn't even care about this stuff at all because all they see is political organizing groups. They don't care about Christians. They don't care about Christianity. It doesn't matter if Marx was Jewish. Marx did not like them. It doesn't see, this is where you guys come unhinged and you go off the rails. You're like, every single person who is a Jew thinks exactly the same thing. No, they don't, guys. No, they don't. Even Nick has admitted on this show there are factions that have been infighting, and he's talked about this on his show as well. There were infighting factions. They do not all think the same thing at all in any way. Like, if you guys are incapable of handling any sort of rational discussion and dealing with reality as it's happening right in front of you because you want to live up in this crazy we hate the Jews world, where Nick is correct is that there is a disproportional influence of what some extremely high-powered Jewish people have over America. And I personally do not like seeing how much more excited they are about what's going on in Israel when they have never been on top of this shit in America. They didn't care at all. They didn't care at all when this stuff was happening in universities. They didn't care at all when this stuff got pushed into K through 12 schools. But the minute that this thing happens in Israel, they're closing their wallets. They're doing all these stunts. That's my problem, and that's where Nick is correct. But this conspiracy that the Jews control everything, when it is provable that they do not, when it is provable that some of the things that are happening in the country are coming from a completely different place that you guys have no idea about because you refuse to actually look at receipts that don't back up what you say. You guys are living in a land of confirmation bias, groypers. You're only looking at information that specifically backs up what you wanted to say, and you're ignoring all information that contradicts what you wanted to say. That's an echo chamber, guys. That's where you get brainwashed. That's where you get sucked into groupthink. We don't do that on my channel. We sit here and we watch dozens of hours of this stuff a week. The real stuff from start to finish, not clips. And we go where the truth takes us. You can either give in to confirmation bias or you can do your own research and look for receipts and go where the truth takes you. Because the reality is that Marx did not like the Jews. The left does not like the Jews at all, in any way. So you can deal with reality or not. I agree. This debate has been so horribly disappointing to me. I feel bad that, hang on, why isn't my stuff displaying on my screen today? This debate has been horribly disappointing to me. I think that Alex Jones set it up badly. I think that Nick hasn't been fiery. And I'm disappointed. I shouldn't have canceled my community call for this. I had something else to do that I took off to watch this. No, we're not doing a community Zoom tomorrow because I have other things I need to do. I have work I need to do too. I very rarely cancel a community Zoom, and I did for this, and I'm feeling regret over that. I think Nick is doing okay with what Alex Jones has given him. I do think that Nick needs to learn more about China. Well, I wanted to watch it live. It is what it. Everyone's going to be fine that we didn't have a community Zoom today, guys. I promise you. You're going to make it somehow. But I'm going to have to do some stream to make up for this later, and I wasn't planning necessarily on doing that. Just disappointing. What can you do? You know, Joshua predicted this last night. He predicted this wasn't on Nothing Remotely Controversial. He predicted this was not going to be the most fiery of days because the moon is in Pisces or whatever. I forget exactly. Like, it had something to do with Pisces and Taurus and... Well, everyone needs to watch Socialism Saturday, Jenny. Everyone needs to watch it. Yeah, we actually did do a prediction. We did a prediction based on astrology and tarot cards last night on the show. You can go back and watch it. And it's actually turning out to be pretty similar to what's happened, to be honest. Like, Joshua pretty much got the prediction correct. So yes. Lauren Chen did a video the other day called Conservatives Triggered SJW Snowflakes on Israel. Lauren Chen is based on Israel, man. Lauren Chen is suffering no fools. I think that you guys do... Hang on. I think... God damn it. I think that you guys don't adequately understand exactly how the left has taken over all the major institutions, because you just blame everything on the Jews as a default. And because you blame everything on the Jews, you don't look at other things that are happening, and you ignore a lot of evidence that's right in front of you. It's all public. Like, you can find all this stuff. But they'll tell you exactly what they're doing. And I promise you, it has nothing to do with the Jews. When you blame the Jews for everything, you're going to overlook other things that are going on. And again, I agree with you somewhat on the disproportional influence, but there's other things going on. Anyway.
Pelosi's arrest, he says... The informed person, Nick Fuentes, what do you think?
This is not
correct. I don't know much about Mike Johnson. He was pretty far down the list. You know, they went through Scalise and Jordan and Emmer and Donalds. And so this is really, I think this is what, their fourth or fifth guy. And I don't know that much about him. But I will say that generally speaking, this is probably one of the biggest wins from congressional Republicans in a long time.
They're exercising their power.
Yeah, exactly. I think what Matt Gaetz did was brilliant, because Republicans are allergic to fighting. They like to say that, well, if we tried to shut down the government with the debt ceiling or with the continuing resolution, well, we just lose because we don't have the Senate, we don't have the White House. And they say, well, you know, we have to have all these rhinos in these competitive districts, and you have to vote for them because who's it going to be, a Democrat? And so Republicans, they don't even want to engage in the battle. It seems like we win election after election. We win the House, Senate, White House. Regardless of the combination, we never get what we want, whether we have all three or we have one or we have two of the chambers of the House or the White House. It never seems to make a difference. We always see the Democrats are able to control the political agenda. So with Matt Gaetz this time, I think it's the first time, maybe since Eric Cantor lost his primary, that the actual base of the GOP won a real victory by getting McCarthy out. Because the Republican base delivered. They gave the GOP a majority. The establishment came in and said, well,
I don't know about
deal with McCarthy. Nobody wanted him, but they shoved him down our throats. They said, this is the only guy that can have it. And thankfully, Matt Gaetz stood tall and said, well, maybe McCarthy's the only viable guy, but we'll have to have some conditions. We want a contract. We want an enforcement mechanism. And thankfully, ultimately, when McCarthy failed on the debt limit, when he failed to deliver the tapes from January 6th, when he failed on the continuing resolution by allying with the Democrats, we had the ability to kick him out. And even though I don't think there's really a great option to replace him, it sent a message to the establishment that the base isn't just going to accept whatever the establishment shoves down their throat.
I agree with Nick on this.
And you're right. We had actual real people power from the MAGA caucus. And really, he's the only one that's leading. I've been very disappointed with Green and Gosar and many others who I've been friendly with in the past. Seems like Gaetz is the only one that really even wants to fight over there. So,
well, I think it's very important to note, the people that just tuned in, we're being honest. I don't know Representative Mike Johnson. I knew who he was, but I'm not going to give you an opinion until I know. And you know, on MSNBC and CNN or ABC, they're going to tell you, well, I'm going to have to do a deep dive on this guy.
Yeah, same. I don't know that much about him, but I've seen some good things, some bad things. I'm very skeptical, though. I'm skeptical because...
Well, yeah, how do you get the votes? I mean, Jim Jordan looks pretty good. I don't know how they...
They were so stupid to not elect Jim Jordan.
That's the thing, is that these McCarthy guys,
maybe they got something on him.
Yeah, potentially.
People ask, why are Republicans wimps, pussies? Well, they indict you for a crooked toenail if you go against them. Yeah,
that's right.
Believe me, I've been experiencing responding to the federal grand juries myself. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, everyone that's been a fighter like Cawthorn, they just dumped their Oppo file on him and they made him lose his primary, dropped a bunch of embarrassing dirt, and they punished him because he made some offhand remark about DC sex parties and pedophilia and stuff like that.
That's
Same
true.
thing with Gates. Gates has been a firebrand, and he's been taking the fight to Washington.
The right
he made it
eats
through
their
the
own.
Well, exactly, because they came at him with the DOJ investigation. So you're exactly right. Anybody that stands up and says something, and it comes from their own party, it comes from the Republican.
Well, like Jim Jordan, while he was a coach, some other coach might have done something, or Matt Gaetz 5 years ago might have been on a private jet with a 17-year-old. Again, it's so obvious what they're doing.
Totally. It's the whole city is run basically on blackmail, and that's how they keep everybody in line. Everybody rather go along with the agenda from the establishment because they know that the alternative is they get the dirt dropped on them. They get law enforcement, litigation, lose the election, whatever it is.
Well, Nick, let's talk about you. People wonder where you came from. You're a young guy. How old are you? What got you politically engaged?
I'm 25. I've been involved in politics since I was like 12. I started reading Thomas Sowell and Milton Friedman. That's how I got started. And I just devoured everything, all the libertarian literature, all the Austrian school stuff, Chicago school stuff. I was
like the von Mises Institute?
Oh, yeah, Mises, absolutely. I read Mises. I read On Credit and Money, which is one of the seminal Austrian school books. And then the Trump revolution happened, and it totally shook my worldview because Trump came in and made me think about our nation as opposed to the market.
And he's a, quote, pro-Israel guy, but being attacked by the Israel lobby. So how do you juxtapose that? How do you center that up in your view?
Well, because if you remember, Trump came in very hot about the Iraq war. Trump opposed the Iraq war in 2003. And in 15 and 16, Trump was really on Jeb Bush's case because he said, you need to say the Iraq war was a mistake. And he said something I'll never forget at South Carolina. He said, the World Trade Center came down. That's not keeping us safe. They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There weren't any, and they knew there weren't any.
Well, that's right. And he also said you should be in jail to Hillary. He also, on 9/11, the day after, called into the radio and TV shows, and so we played it many times, and said bombs blew it up.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's not an architect, but he's a developer.
He's funded a lot of architects, yeah.
Right, and so he knows that the structure of the
He said,
tower,
I've talked to my architects.
Yeah, and anybody will say, any engineer will say the way that building was.
Well, the Japanese top designer that designed it for a jumbo jet to hit it.
Right.
Multiple.
Exactly, because of the frame and the interior core. And so I think that when Trump came out there and said all that stuff, that's why all these neocons became never Trumpers, because he said, and Tucker said this recently.
Skip the break.
He said the cardinal sin that Trump made is that he went against the wars, because that's the thing that.
That's right. That's why they don't like him. So let me ask you this, because one of your biggest criticisms is people sit back, and maybe it's tongue in cheek, I'm sure it is. You say, I don't get the exact quote, there's nothing more gay than being obsessed with women, or whatever the quote is. It's something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I think it would be really good for your PR. Plus, it's a lot of fun. Why don't you get married and have some babies? People would, I think you're the best advice
Nick,
I
why
can
don't
give
you find your 16-year-old child
get a girlfriend,
bride?
get married. Man, you'd be even, plus it's a lot of fun to have kids and be married. Well, where are you on, what was the quote about it's gay to be into women?
I said the gayest thing. What did I say? I said the straightest thing is to be an asexual incel. But I said that in the context here. You know, you're a guy, you know, you're an entertainer. You say, you ham it up a little bit.
It's a joke.
Things. Yeah, partially. But the point is this. There's a lot of guys. One of my favorite rants you ever did, you said that young men today don't care about Magellan or Columbus. They care about Justin Bieber. They care about silly stuff. And I think one of the big problems.
No, you're right. Women just for women is a distraction.
Exactly. Yeah. The simping that goes on. These guys, they're basically like male feminists, and their whole obsession is sex, women, girlfriend, that sort of thing. And even the whole arrangement these days, you know, you have these guys, they'll date a woman for 10 years and not get married. They'll date a woman, they'll cohabitate, then they don't get, then they get married, and then they get divorced. And it's just a lot of silly stuff.
Let me give you a little advice. When the baby's born, you're going to love it and something's going to flip in your head. But when it's sitting on your knee at 6 months, man, you're a whole nother man. Everybody should have children.
Yeah.
It is magic. You ever want to have children?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to have kids in my life, but right now.
But I figured that clip was out of context because I've seen other stuff you said.
Yeah.
But that's what they did.
Yeah.
Like I was on Bannon, and I was like, we don't want to go in. It's a trap. We shouldn't do it. But if you're going to do it, here's how you do it. Oh, he wants to carpet bomb Gaza. I didn't say that. It was a statement within that debate.
Right. Well, and I sort of like when they take it out of context because I'm so censored. It's almost like you need the outrage, you need the provocation for people even to talk about it. And, people then tune into my show, they watch the whole thing and they go, actually, I think I kind of agree, because I'd like to get married and everything. I have pretty conventional views on that, but I think that.
You got a girlfriend?
No, not right now.
Well, you're a good looking guy, man. It's pretty easy.
Thanks.
What kind of girl, what in your mind, have you, like the vision of a woman or behavior?
16-year-old child bride.
Who she is. But what do you like? Brunettes? You like blondes? You like redheads?
I like an Italian girl. I'd like a brunette Italian girl with light eyes. But it's very important to me. I'm really looking at it. I'm looking at it from a genetic point of view. I'm going a little Hitler here.
Well, you gotta look at the parents.
Exactly. I want to know that I want my kids to have hair, so I want her parents to have good hair. I want her to be smart. No offense. I want to have.
But I'm joking. A lot of times, having hair is not a denominator of smarts.
True. Well, yeah, and I agree with that.
So you want to marry like spy chiefs and rocket scientists like my family?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kind of combine both sides, like
That's right. Yeah, you and me coming together produce the ultimate.
Oh, we're gonna get married now.
Yeah, you and me are gonna get married. Yeah, could you imagine?
Nick, you're a handsome guy, but I'm not into dude.
Baby
Sorry.
Hitler, Uncle Hitler coming together. No, but
Daddy and baby Hitler.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, so probably an Italian person. The problem.
Are you Italian? What's your genetic background?
I'm half Italian, quarter Irish, quarter Mexican.
Wow.
So I'm an American ethnic.
Tell us about all your background family. What different folks?
Well, I'm fifth
Nick
generation,
likes
so
long
they all
walks
came
on the
here
beach.
roughly
What the fuck is
100,
this? I wanted
or
a
so years
debate.
ago.
Why are we talking about Nick dating?
Exactly. I got like the Indian chieftain thing. Like, Charles Johnson says that's why I'm a maniac because of the Mexican side. They called my great grandfather Injun Joe because he was a fighter and he looked like an Indian, looked like a tribal Indian. But I really identify with the Italian side because they were more like eccentric and really into politics and stuff like that. They actually worked. I talked on the previous show. We talked about Italians running the sewers in Chicago. One of my Italian ancestors worked in the sewer. And my great grandfather, who was a shoemaker, came up and said, "Hey, get up. We don't work in the sewer." And then that guy who worked in the sewer became a multimillionaire, had a jet and farm and all this kind of stuff. So I really identify with.
What about the Irish?
The Irish
get your grudges from them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, grudges against Bannon and the rest. They're a real troublesome bunch. The Irish are all Democrats. They're all Union Democrat types. Chicago, city machine politics types.
Well, Bannon's not though.
Right. No, I'm talking about my grandma on that Irish side. They don't watch my show. So, but I love the.
Yeah, what's your family think of what you're doing?
I mean, they don't agree with everything I say, but they support what I'm doing. My parents, they're real boomers. They're like, go and do whatever makes you happy, man.
Well, I'll say this. When the universities and the public schools and the elementary schools are teaching white people are bad.
That's not what they're teaching.
I say the
Wrong.
left and seeing it.
That is not what they're teaching at all.
You can't point at this guy with race-based politics when he's a 2 and you're a 10 and then say he's the devil. That's where I'm at. I've tried to sell Americana. I've really tried to get everybody on the same page. I've done the best job I can. I believe in everybody. But my 6.5-year-old daughter is homeschooled, but we put her in a lot of exercise camps. She's like a little Arnold Schwarzenegger. And she came home a few weeks ago and told me she was at this camp where during the break at lunch, they aired over the air speakers. She really doesn't make stuff up. This is adult stuff. She's super smart, Veronica. And she told me,
Bro,
they told me white people are bad.
If you want to keep
Am
making
I
yourself
bad?
look dumb in my chat,
It's
that's
over,
your
folks.
business. But you're
Done.
making
Pass
yourself
the
look dumb in my
Rubicon.
chat.
You
And I
want
hope
it,
you
you got it
understand
now.
that.
You mess with my 6-year-old, it's over. So you wanted it. You finally got what you wanted. Because I'm not going to have you teach my daughter she's bad because she's white. Fuck you. Fuck you
That's
for that.
not
You pieces of
what
fucking
they
leftist shit.
teach.
So that's where I'm at.
Getting all riled up
Well,
over
gloves are off
something
now.
that isn't even really happening.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They mess with people's kids, and there's a different side coming out now, and it's happening to you. It's happening to all.
Well, we tried to protect her from them.
What they're teaching is way worse than that, by the way. It's far worse what they're actually teaching.
Teach critical race theory at swim team or volleyball. It's the damn cult doesn't want to just cut your son's dick off. They literally want to brainwash your children. So, okay.
White privilege means beneficiary of capitalism. It does not have anything to do with skin color. It means beneficiary of capitalism.
When you said you're shaving the head, you're going Lex Luthor.
You guys don't know what you're talking about.
Stop the Steal,
Sorry,
I felt that,
you don't know what you're talking
about. This is
the
battle for humanity. And I'm with you. The anti-white stuff, the anti-human, anti-Christian, that's what the transgender stuff is anti-human.
It sterilizes our kids.
Yeah. Chemical, physical castration. And they destroy them even before that. The way that
when I learned that, and she told me this adult stuff that she like they had them at lunch playing over loudspeakers, it flipped the switch. It was like, okay,
that's not real.
Go past that.
Yeah, it focuses the mind when they attack your family. You know, that's when you realize
whiteness
what's
is
really
a proxy
at stake here.
for
it's not
capitalism.
abstract,
It's not about
conceptual.
skin color.
You're a
it's
war.
About
We're trying to brainwash children.
And your children, not
I read the news.
Bro, I'm gonna end up blocking you. Not that I'm gonna end up blocking you because I don't actually allow people to shill bullshit in my chat, and you're obviously not interested in listening. You're obviously not interested in learning. So you don't have a place here if you're not open to new information. So you can leave.
You want to make it, you got it.
Or you can keep shilling bullshit in my chat, and I block you, and that's really
because they started it. They drew first blood.
No, this is see. I'm not just gonna argue with the groypers because you guys have no fucking idea what you're talking about. I have thousands of hours of footage on this.
Or black person that's
you have no fucking clue,
whoever that is. 100%. You declared war on my children. Okay,
God damn it!
You attacked my
this is
daughter.
why we're going to lose.
Game over.
Is that you assholes engage in confirmation bias? You think the Jews are responsible for everything. You don't listen.
Well, and Hispanics and blacks, I think,
to
are with
anyone.
I think a lot of them
and any evidence that contradicts it. And then you fight the wrong problem and you treat everyone like shit.
Some little
and
beautiful
then you
black child
lose,
who just loves
and
the
you
universe.
wonder why.
My daughter loves everybody. And she's like, Daddy, am I bad because I'm white? I was like, excuse me? She said, well, they just said we're bad and we take advantage and we're bad. She's really smart. I mean, like, all my kids are all smart, but like, she's like super smart, super articulate. And I was like hearing like what they did. And I was like, they literally raped my daughter's mind. But it's outrageous.
What they're actually teaching kids is far worse than what Alex Jones and Nick understand.
I'm going to crush you.
It's far worse than you guys understand.
God, what scum.
But you don't want to hear that. You don't want new information. You don't want to learn what's actually going on. You just want to be little shits in my chat.
Set them up. And now major hospitals, look at this. Hospital Network tells parents they'll no longer be able to view managing children's prescriptions. Your 7-year-old goes in to get a checkup. And they go, you're really a girl. And they put you in a database. They're literally stealing our children. And a little girl's at a sports camp, and they go to lunch and over the loudspeaker, white people are bad. Are you white?
They are speaking in a coded language that is specifically designed to confuse you. And you are obviously too stupid to understand what's going on, which means you are doing exactly what they want you to do. You are actually doing, you're taking the fucking bait, bro. Congratulations. How does it feel to be a fucking sheep? You're taking the bait the left is giving you.
3 minutes left.
Because you're not listening.
We'll do 5 more minutes before this big, huge Russian guest joins us. We'll do 5 more minutes, but you got the floor. Go ahead. Baby
I'm with
Hitler.
You. That's the thing. I think whatever our disagreements, we all have to come together and oppose a globalist.
Well, we beat Hitler. Now we're facing things
far
worse.
Michael.
100%.
Michael, you might be one of the stupidest people in my chat so far.
And it's coming.
What, teaching
bro, I'm
6-year-old
very
girls
sorry.
are bad because they're white? That's not evil?
It is. That's what I'm saying. That's devil. That's straight up.
I'm just going to argue with you guys. They don't want to fucking argue. I will argue. You are one of the stupidest fucking people that's been in my chat so far. You are obviously not smart enough to understand what's going on. This exchange that we had on Twitter this morning really just, echoes that as well. I'm deeply sorry that you're low IQ, bro.
That lead the country. They
I'm deeply sorry you're not capable of processing multiple bits of information.
They're not loyal to us.
That sucks for you.
They're not loyal to the human species.
No, they worship death. And I think they commune with demons. That's the only thing that explains it.
It's Skull and Bones. They do weeks of chanting to become possessed.
Yeah, it's
2 minutes to break, Nick. Keep going.
And I'm with you.
No, Michael, that's not what that means, bro.
That's the real
I
enemy.
wish that my
And we
fucking
see
setup
who it
was actually where
is,
this
you
was
know, and
playing
it's
on
people
screen
that
when
are
I
killing
said it.
kids here, people killing kids everywhere else. It's Christians that believe in God, that believe in the integrity of the human design, men and women, sanctity of marriage against everybody else, regardless of what they are. And that's why, in some sense, I see a little kinship even with the Muslims. Because like you said,
No,
like in
that's actually
Dearborn,
not
they're
what that means,
protesting this
bro.
stuff
Again,
too.
you're
I'm
too
not in
stupid to
favor of,
understand what you're
I'm
talking
not
about. I'm
Muslim.
No, but I
deeply
mean,
sorry
I
that
think
you're a
the
fucking
lesser of two evils
retard.
is the Muslims compared
I'm
to Hollywood.
deeply
Exactly. Yeah, because
sorry
even the
that
Muslims
you
would
are
say, don't
not
touch our
smart enough
kids.
to
Don't
follow
cut our
along with
kids'
what is
genitals off.
happening.
Even
I
they
really
understand.
am. I'm
Well, they don't just
deeply
understand,
sorry
they'll
that you're
stand
not
up.
capable of
Right. They go out
processing
there and fight.
information. I'm deeply
Well, I
sorry that
said
you just put down whatever
if
Nick
Christianity won't stand
feeds
up, maybe
you,
Islam
and
is.
you
I mean, you know what I
take
mean?
that in as
If
that though
Christianity
that's the
doesn't show
only
up, I
truth
mean,
in the
maybe it's
world.
Islam.
I have
That's
to
what
think
I'm
that
saying.
he's smarter than
That
this.
doesn't make me a
You're
Muslim.
not
Doesn't mean
smarter
I
than
love
this, though.
that whole
Sucks
situation.
for
But
you.
Christians won't fight, but they need to. And Andrew Tate, you know, I've seen
I mean,
his
you guys are going to
appearances
be
on this
fighting
show,
about the wrong
and he's
problem.
obviously a Muslim.
And the
And
left is going to
he
continue
says,
to
you know,
win.
the
The left is
Christians
going to
won't
continue to
stand
kill
up.
your
And
ass.
sadly,
Kick your
as a
ass,
Christian,
rather.
I have
So
to
he
say,
wants to be
Because you guys
fighters.
don't even know what the fucking
Right.
problem is.
That's why he joined Islam. And I get it. Sneeko did the same thing. He's a friend of mine. And he said, I have to go with the Muslims because they're the ones standing up to all this stuff. Now, I think that the solution, because Christianity is true, is that we just need the Christians to stand up. But Christians are afraid of losing their jobs or getting canceled or stuff like that. We need people to get bold.
Well, they're not really Christians.
No, that's cowardice.
This has been an incredible debate. You're a bad baby.
It hasn't been a debate. It's been an awful debate. It's been an awful debate.
Yeah, no.
Let's
It's been
get
very
a yay
boring.
update when we come back, and then we got to go to break. And then, guys, they're like Alex Jones was why they censored Alex Jones.
I could not be more disappointed in this. I really couldn't be. I have a riddle for you, bro. I don't give a fuck. Why are you such a fucking moron? That's the fucking riddle. God damn it. I swear to God. I swear to God. You are not going to bring this shit into my chat. I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed in this on 19 different levels. I'm disappointed that we didn't actually get to hear any of the good analysis that Nick has been doing on it. I'm disappointed that on what's going on in Israel and Palestine, because he has actually been doing significantly better analysis than what we've heard on the show today. I'm disappointed that this wasn't actually a debate. It was more a discussion, and then it delved into like, Nick, do you like long walks on the beach? And what type of girl are you? And can we set you up with a Tinder profile, Nick? And it's just like, it's like, what the fuck even is this? And I'm extra disappointed that neither Nick nor Alex Jones actually knows what's going on in schools, though I'm not surprised. I knew they didn't know what was going on in schools. I'm disappointed that people who are smart enough to understand what's going on in schools, being Nick's audience, because I do think Nick's audience tends to be smarter than average because like they're really into this stuff. I'm disappointed that people in Nick's audience are completely incapable, completely unwilling, completely maybe they're not as smart as I think they are. I don't know, but incapable of processing new information. That is information they have not heard before, information they have not seen before, because they just want to be in my chat going, we've seen it, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. It's not the Jews, guys. It's really not. And the fact that you guys are incapable of looking at new information and integrating that information, it doesn't speak highly of you. It doesn't speak highly of your abilities. It doesn't speak highly of your intelligence. It basically just says, you guys want to be in a little cult where all you talk about is the evil Jewish conspiracy all day, every day. It tells us that you don't want to be hinged into reality. It tells us that you have no interest in what's actually going on in the world. It tells us that this is all just a tribalist game for you guys. You know, it's okay to have a social circle. It's okay to have a community. It's okay to talk about things you guys like. But when you pretend that you're hinged into reality, when you're ignoring information that is readily available to you, and you just insult people who try to show it to you, and you just act foolish, doesn't look good, bro. Not a good look.
Put in solitary confinement. We'll find out the details of that. folks, and hope he makes it out of there because these people are going for broke. Closing comments in the 4 minutes we have left, Nick Fuentes. I think this has been a good discussion, an open discussion. Free speech is king. The system doesn't want this. I think it's been a very important discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate you having me here and having the discussion. I think you're a real patriot, and I know maybe there was a little bit of hostility before, but I think we squashed it.
I'm just not getting calls from Netanyahu.
Yeah, no, I'll stop getting calls from Arafat and Hitler. But no, but I think we had a great discussion. I think that, like you said, this is nuanced, sophisticated stuff. I think you're a brilliant guy, and I think you bring a perspective. I bring a perspective. The thing we agree on is we're both in favor of humanity. We're both,
and we need to stop apologizing for being white. We're not in the KKK. We love everybody, but we're not going to roll over.
Right. Right. Yeah, we're not going to roll over and let them rape our kids, rape their minds, cut off their genitals. We're here to fight. We're here to fight for God. We're here to fight.
It's so bad. My homeschool daughter got hit.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's well, and that's just it. It's affecting everybody. Even the people that are involved, like you and I, we may think we're
She can't go to a sports camp. These people you imagine parents that don't know and not trying to protect them, how bad it is?
Oh, yeah. That's where you get all these trans types. That's where you get all these radicals because they get touched and raped by the teachers. And like you say, these are the people that the parents don't even know what's going on. You're on top of it.
You guys don't even know what's going on.
You're right. We're not going to roll over, but we've had a good discussion. And my being here and your willingness to have me, I think, is proof that this is the free speech platform. That's why they hate you, because they can't control
you. And
you.
You're on the War Room today, 3 p.m. Central. Owen can't be on because he's in solitary confinement right now. You're going to be on with Harrison Smith today.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be on later. Love Harrison Smith.
Well, I'm just going to say this in closing. Everybody deserves, as an adult, to hear what you want. You tune into Hollywood, it's pure evil. They have their free speech. But we need to let listeners remember, you don't get to hear Nick Fuentes or Alex Jones without support, and you'll get to hear it without promoting it. So everybody has a right to hear it. Everybody should realize your job is to boost the signal of what the system doesn't want. So how do people hear your show?
You can find me on rumble.com/Nick J. Fuentes and cozy.tv/Nick.
All right. And when you got on the no-fly list, help get you a lawyer.
Yes.
And we even help you get an IT guy. It'll help a little bit. The point is, because I believe in free speech, I don't agree with everything you say or do. I wish, how's he doing? I didn't want to do 4 hours on Hitler. I get it was like being contrarian or whatever, but I didn't mean to have that happen. How's he doing?
He's doing well. He got married and he's been enjoying time with his fiance. And I think he's rethinking. The last time I spoke to him, he's considering deferring his presidential plans a little bit. But the time that I spent with him, I realized he gets it. He gets it way more than people realize.
No, he's definitely a smart guy. I would almost say idiot savant. And I think I'm a little like that. So I'm not putting him
Michael,
down.
stop shilling bullshit in my chat, bro. Stop right now.
He's pissed about being messed with.
He's
challenging the power structure he knows.
True.
I'm just saying there's other power structures.
This is
not
true.
And I agree. There are multiple power structures, but he just like with music and fashion, he's got this intuitive
know what
sense
you're talking
that
about.
He taps into, and he's able
you
to bypass a lot of misconceptions that people have and get straight to it.
You really don't.
And he's bold, brilliant, and it was an honor of the lifetime to work with him. He's always been a hero of mine, like you. So being here with you and him was amazing.
Well, you're on the War Room today, 3 p.m. Central with Harrison Smith, because Owen is in solitary confinement right now. We have the top Russian broadcaster to hear what he has to say, unfiltered to our millions of listeners. They're going to call for my arrest for this interview, but I don't care because the truth be told, even if I get damned to hell,
all right.
and as he
You're
said when I was on the show about
because
to go,
I don't actually allow that language in my chat.
Nuclear war. So thank you, Nick Fuentes.
God damn it.
Thank you.
What a disappointment of a day. What a disappointment of a day. Well, that didn't go how I wanted it to. If Nick wants to talk to me, then Nick can reach out and ask me. This is my line. He knows how to get in touch with me. He has my contact information. If he wants to talk to me, I will talk to him. But what I'm not going to do is live in the realm of fucking fantasy and bullshit, okay? We know what's going on in the schools because we spend more time watching it than anyone else on the internet. You guys have no fucking idea what you're talking about. I'm actually so frustrated. I really am. I'm frustrated. I wanted a good discussion. I was excited for my members of my audience to actually hear some thoughtful analysis that Nick is going to be doing, that Nick has been doing. And instead I feel like it just wasn't his best day. And I don't actually think that was 100% his fault. I think that it was mostly Alex Jones's fault in terms of like how that was set up and like the questions that he asked him and like the roads he went down and et cetera, et cetera. And it's just like, you know, I mean, I've got way more than 200 hours of footage. I have thousands of hours of footage. I've been doing this for like almost 3 years. And so it's just like, man, what a shame. What a shame. Well, groypers, if you actually want to know what's going on in the schools and you actually want to like see some shit that you have not seen anywhere else, I promise you, you're welcome to peruse the content on my channel. You're also welcome to attend my daily streams that usually happen at 5 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. I was ambivalent about whether or not I was going to stream today at 5 because I thought we were going to have a really fun debate today. And now I feel like I have to stream at 5 because I feel like I've just wasted 2 hours of my time. And now I have to figure out what I'm going to stream at 5. So I don't know yet. So I'll get back to you guys on that. But, yeah. Disappointing. Disappointing. What can you do? All right, guys. Well, I guess thanks for hanging out. It was what it was. I got to yell at some people. I got to block some toxic people from my chat. And that's always a good thing so far as I'm concerned. We are never going to actually have a shot at accomplishing anything if people don't start getting serious about what is going on in the fucking schools. The groypers have no idea what's going on in the schools. Nick has no fucking idea what's going on in the schools. Alex Jones has no fucking idea what's going on in the schools. The average conservative influencer has no idea what's going on in the schools. Because all they want to do is focus on skin color and not what's actually happening. Because race gets views and race gets clicks and it riles people up. And that's exactly what the left wants. The left wants you to be focused on race because it distracts you from what it's like no one has ever learned how to play chess. No one. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for right now. I will be back a little bit later. So yeah, go get some I'm gonna go get some food because I haven't eaten yet today. All right.